Yeah, it's just the weather, isn't it?
Isn't it nice?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
How was your drive to work today?
Summery.
Yeah,
Felt
nice.
very summery, yeah. What about?
Summary?
Yeah.
That's
How's
nice.
your show?
Oh, terrible. Terrible good.
Yeah, terribly good.
Good for nothing? No,
Oh,
it's
no,
all right.
see you tomorrow. Hey?
All right, see you
Enjoy
tomorrow.
the summery weather.
We'll do it.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
It is the 9 till noon show. Time for a news update. Good morning, Donald Kavanagh.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Lifford man who died in a drowning incident while holidaying abroad has been named locally as Martin Duffy. He died while on a family holiday in Greece. Mr. Duffy was in his 50s, married with 3 children and a lecturer at Northwest Regional College in Derry. He was also involved in schoolboy soccer in Donegal and a member of the executive of the Donegal Junior League. Gardaí are appealing for information about an assault in Dunloe in the early hours of Sunday. They say when they received a report of the incident, they found a man with multiple injuries. He was rushed to hospital. Gardaí believe sometime between 1 and 3 a.m. the man had been assaulted near the old Bank of Ireland building on Main Street. Anyone with information is asked to contact Gardaí in Dunloe. More on that on the Community Garda information slot on the 9 till noon show with Greg just after 10 o'clock this morning. The International Fund for Ireland has committed just over €1 million to peace and reconciliation efforts across Northern Ireland and the southern border counties. A number of the projects being supported involve groups in Donegal. The funding was approved at a recent board meeting in Rathmullen. With more, here's Donna Marie Doherty.
The latest funding package will be shared across 2 key programmes, the new Communities in Partnership programme and the Personal Youth Development programme. Among the local projects being supported, Donegal Local Sports Partnership will receive a share of €115,000 along with its partner Waterside Neighbourhood Partnership in Derry. Calais Community Park and Tidy Towns will receive a share of €115,000 along with Derry partners Bogside and Brandywell Initiative, Pink Ladies Cancer Support Group and Life After. Meanwhile, students at Loreto Community School in Milford will also participate in a programme to be delivered by Politics in Action in conjunction with Portadown College. IFI Chairman Paddy Hart says the border on the island of Ireland stretches for more than 300 miles and it remains a psychological and physical barrier for many communities, a barrier which the International Fund is committed to addressing.
The interim chief medical officer says people should meet up outdoors where possible this summer to limit the spread of COVID-19. Professor Breda Smith is also urging people to wear masks on public transport. The Irish Times reports in her latest update to the Health Minister, Professor Smith says there is no reason to change existing public health advice in light of what she termed the recently observed deterioration in the profile of the virus. And tributes are being paid to Olivia Newton-John, who's died as a result of cancer, aged 73. The Derry-born Eurovision winner and former MEP Donna Rosemary Scallon was a friend of the singer and actress when she was trying to break into show business in London, and Donna says Hollywood fame never changed her.
I can honestly say she never changed. From the young girl at the back of the Palladium and then to worldwide stardom, massive stardom with Grease. And I met her after that a couple of times and she never changed. She was just a very gentle, kind, smiling, genuine person.
Any lingering mist and fog will clear this morning, leaving a dry and sunny day, warm with highest temperatures 20 to 23 degrees Celsius, mostly light southwesterly or variable breezes. That's Highland Radio News. Back with news again at 10 o'clock.
Attention all staff. Clean up on aisle 4, please. That's a clean up on aisle 4. And Jacob, who's popped in for a pint of milk, has diabetes.
We don't always know who's at risk from COVID-19 and other viruses, but we do know how to protect them. Keep hands clean and wear a mask. Let fresh air in, get vaccinated and stay at home if you are unwell. From the HSE, for us all.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Student loans now available and free banking for students from your local and friendly credit union. Call 91 or email loans@letterkennycu.ie.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to noon show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. Just turned 5 minutes past 9 on this Tuesday, the 9th of August 2022. Thank you very much for choosing the 9 till noon show, and good morning to you. We want to hear what you've got to say on what we've got lined up for you, or your own topics and issues which you wish to raise. You can call Caroline or Donna Marie on 07491 25000, 07491 25000, or give us a WhatsApp or text on that number. You may well know at this stage, 086 60 25000, even if you've never texted a radio show before. If you're listening outside the Republic, 003538660 25000, and emails come into us, comments at highlandradio.com. And if you want to watch today's show, we broadcast every day between 9 and 12 on our webpage, highlandradio.com, or on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, or on our Facebook pages. And feel free to say hello and chat to us there. Right, let's look at the newspapers this morning. The Donegal People's Press, and there's been great shock and sadness at the tragic passing of a very well-known and very well-regarded local man. His name is Martin Duffy, and tributes have poured in following his tragic death of the soccer stalwart. Mr. Duffy, who was in his late 50s, drowned while on a family holiday in Greece on Monday morning. He was joint manager of the Donegal Schoolboys League 2017 team that competed in the Kennedy Cup and the Foyle Cup tournaments recently. A long-standing Deal Harps clubman, he was also the Lifford area representative on the executive committee of the Donegal Junior League. Reacting to the news, Donegal League secretary Nigel Ferry said he was shocked, absolutely stunned. Martin was the level-headed one on our committee. When he spoke, people listened, and he was someone you could turn to. And there's just been an outpouring of sadness, of course, but also tributes to clearly a very, very great man. On to the Derry Journal now, and Geraldine Mullen has revealed details of a special field of hope which has been developed in memory of her beautiful family ahead of the second anniversary of the deaths of her husband John and children Tomas and Amelia. The Field of Hope is located in the Quigley's Point area and has been created in conjunction with the Redcastle Village Association and the Mullen Hope Sunflower Festival. The Field of Hope will open briefly over 3 days next week from August 19th to 21st. In a self-penned piece inside Today, Geraldine explains how the project came about. And if you want to read that interview, it's on the front of and inside today's Derry Journal. We had the pleasure of speaking to her on this programme last year, and she left us sunflower seeds, and I grew them, and they grew splendidly, particularly 3 of them. Funny enough, they had to be supported, such was the rapid growth of them. They're amazing sunflowers, that is. The Irish Times this morning: IDA Ireland has clashed with electricity market supervisors over moves to impose penalty tariffs on big business to avert the threat of winter blackouts. The State Inwards Investment Agency said it was essential to maintain competitive pricing for energy at all times, as it expressed anxiety about growing constraints on the national power grid. IDA Ireland, they say, is very aware of clients' concerns around security of energy supply, it said in a reply to questions from the Irish Times. The IDA ranks among the most powerful state agencies because of its relationship with 1,700 multinational clients, whose 275,000 employees make up about 11% of the workforce. Really significant level of employment there. Well, the agency's public stance set it against measures proposed by the Commission for Regulation of Utilities to ease winter demand for electricity. And as I said in the programme yesterday, they will go for the big businesses first to try and conserve energy. Well, the CRU wants to impose peak tariffs on large industrial consumers, pitching prices at levels so high they'd have no option but to cut demand on the coldest winter nights. Such measures would hit big electricity companies such as data centres, whose rapid expansion in recent years spurred the surge in power demand that outpaced growth in generation capacity. Now, I'm not sure of the ins and outs of the benefits to the Irish economy of data centres, but in terms of planning, because we were having this conversation before there was a potential shortage of the ingredients to make electricity effectively. There was already problems with our network, that it was oversubscribed because of these data centres. Well, they certainly contributed to it. But planning has to come into focus here to some extent. Why were so many allowed to be built especially if they were to just come solely off the national grid? Why were so many allowed to be built if it was taking up so much of our capacity and left us so vulnerable to a situation like that, which is developing right about now? And of course, still planning applications being approved for many more, or at least they've been lodged. On to the Irish Independent now, and the government is to consider giving the central bank powers to regulate the operation of ATMs. This could be good or bad news. Any of you lucky enough to go out to European countries might know that if you go to use a cash machine, there can be a one-off payment of €2.50 or something along those lines. We don't see it as much here, but with the likes of the Ulster Bank taking away its ATMs and others, private companies might see this as an opportunity to insert their ATMs. And could there be a premium there for removing your own cash? Well, the reason the government is considering the central bank powers to regulate the operation of ATMs comes after concerns were raised by the central bank that 3 out of every 4 ATMs in Ireland are now owned and operated by unregulated cash distribution companies due to a massive shift towards outsourcing by retail banks. By the end of 2022, just 25% of the country's ATM network will belong to the banking system, down from 100% bank ownership in 2015. What a switch so quickly. Bank of Ireland and AIB have sold a combined 1,200 ATMs to unregulated operators in the past 3 years. It's emerged an ATM has been taken out of the Dáil, with the operator saying just €200 was withdrawn from it in one 4-week period last week. Operator Brinks told the Oireachtas it would continue to provide a serviced ATM only if it agrees to a 4-year contract worth about €38,000, the Sunday Times reported. Well, in December 2020, Bank of Ireland sold 700 non-branch ATMs to Euronet, one of the biggest operators of cash machines here when using our ATMs. And in a submission to the Department of Finance Retail Banking Review, the central bank said the sale of so many ATMs to unregulated operators meant that cash distribution and fulfilment was now dominated by companies that the central bank does not oversee. Again, how did we find ourselves getting into the position whereby we're starting to do something when 75% of the ATMs are already in unregulated private ownership? Okay. On to the Irish Daily Mail, and the College of Psychiatrists of Ireland has warned that child and adolescent mental health services are at crisis point as new figures reveal there are now 20% fewer hospital beds for children with severe mental disorders than a year ago. Figures seen by the paper show that 4 inpatient beds at the CAMS facility in Galway's Merlin Park Hospital closed this year. It comes after it was revealed in May that 11 beds in Dublin's Lindara facility would have to shut for several months due to staff shortages. It means there are now just 57 inpatient beds across the entire country for children needing urgent mental treatment, compared to 72 in 2021. Not enough. We didn't have enough before we lost what we had. And unfortunately, we know from speaking to people on this programme the devastating impact of those shortages and lack of services. Just a wee warning for those of you with young ones in the car or what have you. It's the Irish Daily Mirror. It's in all papers, so I felt I must mention it. Rape crisis experts said giving bike female names and telling hiring customers they are riding Mary is misogynistic and sexist. So they had a fleet of bikes and they give them women's name, and I suppose they might have thought it was funny that on the app it tells you which bike you're riding, but instead of it being bike number 526, they've given them female names. The company involved has defended its move and compared it to the Irish Navy and Aer Lingus giving female names to boats and planes, which is, I would argue, disingenuous. The controversy emerged when bike share firm Movimove Bikes relaunched an app customers used to hire its bicycles in Dublin city centre. Users complained online that the app had given female names to the push bikes instead of identification numbers. Rape Crisis Network Ireland told the Irish Mirror other businesses have used misogynistic and sexist terms in promotional stunts. Its executive director, Cliona Sadler, said, periodically we have people try to generate notice by being misogynistic. So you can see what they were trying to achieve, and to some extent maybe they did get the publicity. I think though since, because of the public outcry, they've changed their position on it and they're no longer doing it. So you will no longer say on the app you are riding and a lady's name. Instead it will be some other identification. But I suppose you could say they have got an awful lot of publicity off the back of it, even holding out for a day or two. Right, the Irish Star this morning. Parents can work out if a baby is hungry, fussy or in pain by recognising differences in their cries, according to new restraints. Before infants learn to speak, crying is their only means of vocal communication. Deciphering different meaning is not an innate ability and must be learned, saying scientists. Lead author Professor Nicholas Mathevon of St. Etienne University, France, said, "We found the ability to detect pain in cries, that is, to identify a pain cry from a more discomfort cry. It's modulated by the experience of caring for babies. Current parents can identify pain cries even if they never heard this baby." So have you noticed? Maybe you have a newborn in the house. Do you understand their language, their different cries for how they are feeling? And finally, you heard it in the news, sad news from the world of show business, and for a whole raft of people of different generations who would have grown up with or later in life came to know Olivia Newton-John. She died just 73. Devastated John Travolta last night pledged his eternal love to tragic Grease co-star Olivia Newton-John. The British-born actress and singer died at home, aged 73, yesterday after a 30-year breast cancer fight. She shot to fame in the 1978 blockbuster musical as high school student Sandy Olsen, alongside Travolta, who played her lover Danny Zuko. And that's an interesting film if you watch it now. It's certainly of a different era in how everyone acts with each other. But anyway, John Travolta posted an emotional tribute last night saying, "My dearest Olivia, you made all our lives so much better. Your impact was incredible. I love you so much. We will see you down the road and we will all be together again. Yours from the first moment I saw you and forever, your Danny, your John," which is actually a beautiful tribute. Which song should we play from Olivia Newton-John or featuring her? Let us know. 086 60 25,000. We'll play one of her tracks at 10:30. Do you have a particular favourite? 086 60 25,000. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be joined by our first guest in a moment.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra, Mountaintop, Letterkenny.
Want unbeatable value from Sky? Here's the deal. Get Sky Broadband for just €29 a month, plus Sky Q for only €10 a month. Super fast, super reliable broadband. And Sky Q with your apps and recordings. That's Sky Broadband for €29 a month, plus Sky Q for €10 a month for 12 months. Now that is unbeatable value. Go to sky.ie. Availability subject to location. Offer does not include Sky TV subscription. New Sky customers only. Setup fees, minimum term and further terms apply. For more info, see sky.ie/speeds.
Discover your dream Donegal wedding by choosing a Gallon Hospitality Hotel for your special day. Jackson's and Villa Rose exude elegance, quality and a wealth of experience in executing the perfect wedding reception. Come along to Jackson's Hotel and the Villa Rose Hotel on Sunday, September 11th as they present their autumn wedding venue showcase and view their complete wedding offering. Visit gallongroup.com to find out more.
Are you frequently asking others to speak slowly, clearly and loudly? Is listening to the TV or radio becoming harder? If your hearing is affecting your everyday life, Connect Hearing are here to help. Our clinics in Letterkenny and Dunloe are open Monday to Friday, where you can avail of our hearing test, wax removal and repair services. Take that first step to better hearing. Call us today on 07491 13296. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Okay, we were speaking to Councillor Ian McGarvey yesterday. If you were listening, you might remember, and he made a suggestion that a fund should be made available that would, and coordination should be made available that would make it easier for people awaiting operations such as hip replacement, cataracts or what have you, to avail of a cross-border scheme to get the treatment privately. But now, you would know from that scheme, and I know lots of people that have used it and it's worked very well for them, you have to front load the payment in advance and then you have to recoup that from the HSE. Now, sometimes it covers all of it, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes people get caught out by it. So maybe having some professionals that could assist applicants would be no harm. But James has got experience of availing of healthcare abroad and he's kind enough to join me on the programme now. How are you, James?
Morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you keeping now?
Yeah, fantastic. Pain-free now after almost a year of pain.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Right, okay. So you started having bother with both your knee and your hip.
Yeah, because the problem with hip is you tend to think after a while it's coming from your knee because it travels up and down your leg. And I never suspected that I would have had a bad hip. it's just something I never put down to. And as time went on, it just kept getting more severe and more severe. I was able to do daily routines, and when I was moving about, it was grand. It was more so when I'd sit down at night to watch a bit of TV or relax. That's when the pain would be annoying me.
Yeah.
So eventually I got to a stage where I needed to get a scan done. I went to the doctor, and the only way I could get a scan fairly quick was to go private. So.
All right, hopefully James comes back here. We just had a quick... Yeah,
Got
sorry,
my
James.
scan.
Sorry, we just had a quick drop out there. It shouldn't happen again.
Oh.
Sorry, you were saying you were in so much pain you went and got a scan. And what did the scan show?
The scan revealed that I just needed a complete hip replacement.
Mm.
So then I said to my GP, what do I do now? I says, because you know yourself, the state, the public health services. Oh, he said, look, unless you're willing to wait 2 to 4 years, he said, it's not going to happen.
I mean, 2
And
to
I said,
4, that's a big gap, isn't it? 2,
Oh.
maybe 4. Come on.
I said, not a hope, not a hope. I said, what's my options if I was to go private? He says, well, there's Kingsbridge in Belfast. He said, that's really what he was kind of aware of, you know. I says, right, sure, I'll have a chat with them. They have an office actually in Letterkenny.
And can I say, I think
beside
there's an important element of it, of this here too, because I think people think to avail of going private and different schemes that you have to be on a waiting list for a certain amount of time. That is not the case. Right, James, I lost you there again.
You're gone there.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
have you back
No,
there now.
yeah, what I was saying to you, James, is people think that you have to be on a waiting list for a certain amount of time to go private. That's not the case.
No, that's not the case. All you need is a referral. You can have both. You can either be on a waiting list or have a referral letter from your GP. Because I was on no waiting list, I had nothing, but I needed treatment fast because I'm an active guy and I didn't want to be laid up and crippled for a number of years or even months for that matter.
Mm-hmm. So you were in
So when I'm
contact
going
with
to-
you were in contact with Knightbridge. They said they could sort you out, but they told you it'd be 4 to 6 months, and you weren't prepared to wait that long. So I want to kind of pick up the
No.
story after Knightbridge, if that's okay. So then, what
Yes.
happened?
Then I had, about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting here watching the evening news and the
No, shall we try and call James back again, Caroline? I wonder, because if that's going to keep dropping out, and it's an important issue, James, if you excuse me, if you hang up there, we'll call you right back. Because I want to get that information, because things seem to have turned around very quickly. Yesterday we asked you about, well, the facts is that almost €100 was spent by the Taoiseach's office on shamrock, bow ties and dog collars. €317 was paid for floral arrangements for a virtual meeting with Joe Biden, as well as €300 for the online presentation of a crystal shamrock bowl. And we asked, do you support this? 60% of you on Twitter said yes, and I kind of think I would agree, because given the expense of flying out everywhere, this kind of stuff, it doesn't seem like big money to me for what might get out of it. 60% on Twitter said yeah, it was you agree with this. On Instagram though, 76% of you said no. So it's funny how you can have different opinions depending on what social media you might need. On Facebook, some of the comments, yes, and they'll continue to do so. No, but how much more is being spent foolishly just to making them look good? Another, I think the flowers and crystal was excessive, but the novelty pieces are harmless. And another, very frustrated, all these small amounts add up. Government and council should look at their expenses and cut out the unnecessary. And a caller says it's to spend on country morale. A caller says, doesn't look like students going to get accommodation for college come September, as landlords offering long-term rental now where Ukrainians are staying. We haven't fully gotten to the bottom of that, or have we? We're going to be discussing the student accommodation crisis, and it is a crisis now in Letterkenny, hopefully a little bit later on in the programme, because, of course, a lot of people are worried about it. A lot of people from Donegal are worried about what's happening in Galway and elsewhere, Dublin, but a lot of people now want to come up and see ATU Letterkenny is a really viable option, as they always had, but even more so than ever, and they're experiencing difficulties in getting accommodation here. Caroline, did we get success in just waiting on him? Okay, no problem. I was on holidays in Donegal with my wife and children. On Monday afternoon, on the way home, I pulled into the taxi rank and went into the shop to buy dancing shoes. It was lashing rain from the heavens. There was no taxis and no one was waiting on a taxi, but because it was lashing the rain, I thought I'll pull in here for 5 minutes. A taxi driver stopped and said, "Move your effing car, you orange bee." I assumed he based this on the fact I had an English reg. Then he started taking photos of my car. Then he pulled in and reversed up tight so I couldn't pull out. He then just sat there, and in the end, a load of taxis came and blocked the street. My wife came out of the shop, and then he started swearing at her. She said, "Stop swearing, there are children here." He eventually pulled down so I could get out. I just found the entire experience dreadful. Quite intimidating too. Now, I don't know where this is. Maybe it's better if we don't. But I suppose the person admits that they pulled into a taxi rank outside of a shop. There was no taxis on it at the time. The verbal abuse he received, I don't think there's any justification for that. There never is. But what do you think about that experience? Should he have known better than to pull into a taxi rank even if no taxis are available? Or do you think maybe the taxi drivers should have shown a little bit more courtesy and understood the situation? 086 60 25,000. Right, James, sorry about this. It's just sometimes, technology gets in our way. Right, so James, you're now, you have gone and got your MRI. The doctor said you need a new hip and knee. You contacted Knightbridge. They said they maybe would get to you in 4 to 6 months. That seemed like a long way out for you, given the pain. So then you're sitting watching TV, and what happens?
And up in the news, Healthcare Abroad comes on saying, basically they were reporting saying this new hospital has opened in Denia in Spain to cater for Irish people that need hip, knee, and cataracts and carpal tunnels replaced. I never really gave it much thought, but now that I had got this information that I wouldn't get treated for 4 to 6 months, I said, "Oh Jesus!" So I got out my phone, googled Healthcare Abroad, and up comes a request form. I filled it out, and 2 days later, a guy called Chris Goody rang me. He says, "You need a hip replacement?" I says, "I do indeed." He says, "When were you thinking?" And I says, "Well, it's a kind of ASAP job, And he says, "Would next week suit you?"
Wow.
I says, "You're taking you're not really." He says, "Honest to God," he says, "we can take you next week." I says, "What do I have to do?" He says, "You have to get yourself, look up to see what flights you can get to Alicante." He says, "Inform your GP that we need an email address so we can send a referral letter to him to get the referral signed."
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "You're on the road." And I says, give me a day and I'll sort that." So I had a look around. I seen flights that was going out of Belfast on the 25th of July. I also contacted my GP, and I said to him, and he says, "Oh, no bother." He gave me his contact email for the surgery. And I messaged your man then, and I said to him, "I can book a flight for the 25th of July." He says, "Book it." He says, "I'll book your operation here." And he texts me back. He says, "Your operation's going to be on the 27th of July."
Wow.
And he says, "We'll get your referral on," and everything kicked off from there.
So you land in Alicante, book into your accommodation, and just then land at the hospital on the 27th?
Yeah, the way it works is they book your hotel to coincide with, they have deals done with hotels for half board.
Okay.
And all you have to do is book your flight out and your flight back. They book the hotel, they arrange all the appointments in the hospital, and they arrange to drop you back to the airport. So what happened was I left here on the 25th, flew into Alicante. There was a lady there from the company, collected me, took me straight to Denia, to a hotel there, booked me into the hotel, made sure I was in the room. Monday morning, picked me up for my consultation with the surgeon doing the operation. That was for about half an hour. We talked about what was going to be done. Tuesday, left me back to the hotel. Tuesday morning, picked me up and took me in, and I had to be fasting. I done bloods, done X-ray on my hip, X-ray on my chest, done a PCR test for COVID, and done an ECG. And they took me back to the hotel. And that evening, they admitted me about 7 o'clock. And on Wednesday morning, I went through my operation. And I was back on physio Wednesday evening, Thursday, Friday, discharged Saturday, back to the hotel. And they picked me up every day. I got physio Monday, physio Tuesday, physio Thursday. And I was left to the airport on Friday, and I flew home there on Friday the 5th.
Wow. And you got a full NCT as well as the
they check you all over because they want to know exactly that you're fit and able to do the operation and all that.
And
That's exceptional.
So, I mean, obviously, it's quite dependent on your general health and other factors. Recovery can be quite quick from these operations. So, what's your situation now? You're home 4 days, is that right?
I'm home now 4 days, and I'm on crutches, and I have a routine from the physio that I go through. I spend some time on one crutch and spend some time on two crutches. And if I'm going any kind of distance or going away from the house, I take two crutches. But he encourages me to reduce to one crutch as much as possible and exercise and put me through. I have a
outside of the operation, because obviously it's quite an intrusive operation, albeit
the operation was an hour and a half. I was on the table for.
Wow! But how do you feel? Is the pain gone? Do you know that the joint pain?
Instant. When I woke up after the operation, I was pain free.
Yeah.
Totally, because I had this throbbing pain, as people will know, from hips going down your leg and into your calf muscle and into your ankles and into your knee, and it's just constantly throbbing there like a toothache, annoying the whole time. And that was gone. And I just couldn't believe that was gone.
Wow. Okay.
That's gone. I'm pain free now. I'm sitting at home now, pain free. I get up and I can sleep at night and all that.
Right now, now we have to get down to the nitty gritty of it. Money.
The nitty gritty, yeah.
James, I'm sorry about it because it's such a positive.
No, that's right.
Maybe this is a good side of it. Right. So, in your initial conversation, what were the financial demands on you, James?
Yes, because that's exactly what I said to him. How is this going to cost me? And I said, do I need to be on a waiting list and he said, no, referral's grand. He said, the total cost for your trip to have your operation done is €11,500. Your expenses to yourself then is your flights and your hotel. So how the 11,000 and a half breaks down is it's 11,000 for the operation. It's 160 for the consultation with the consultant the first day you get there. And it's €73 per physio session.
All right, physio
after
session.
that.
Okay. Yeah, because you stay in the hotel. So, how much of that did you have to pay in advance?
I had to pay all of that, but on their referral form when they send you, there's a box that you can tick for credit union.
Right.
Because they have a deal done with so many credit unions. Because this is recognised, and the credit union will lend you the money on the strength of you going over, because they know that you're going to get refunded 11.5 grand. That's how much the HSE will pay you back, because that's what they initiate the cost to be in Ireland to carry out a hip or a knee operation.
So do you now then? Who chases up the HSE for the refund? Is what was my question.
They handle all the paperwork, and they submit the paperwork on your behalf. And the only thing you will do is get a cheque posted to your home address within, at the outside, 14 weeks, he said.
Right, okay. What about aftercare? Your GP happy to see you and provide the aftercare,
yes,
James?
I went back into my GP on Monday, and he removed my stitches, and he said, great job. I said, I need anything else? Not a thing. He says,
because you're off his back now. You're off his back because you're not going to keep coming back and saying, listen, can you chase this up for me if you any medication or whatever? So the GP is going to be delighted that one of his, and plus everything else has been checked on you as well. So you got a green light always round. I wonder.
Yeah, no, I have to say.
Yeah, I wonder, James, because this announcement of the tie-up with the Spanish hospital was quite recently. I wonder, did you get in early and were you lucky, or did you get any sense of how much capacity would have for, increased demand?
I was asking them that. They're actually operating out of 3 different hospitals out there. They have one in Denia, and they have one in Alicante and one in Benidorm. And they're using 3. Actually, the one in Denia was just a brand new hospital that was operated. Yeah. It was opened, and that's how the HSE was actually out visiting, and they had some personnel from the HSE out visiting that. That was just the launch in the new hospital, and that was how we happened to see it. But this has been ongoing for a number of years, and what I found from talking to other patients there from Ireland, most of them are coming from Dublin and Cork. They seem to be aware of this system.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying to the guy running it. We've never heard of this in the Northwest, until it was on the news. Well, he says, hopefully you'll hear about it now.
I was just curious if, what the wait for a hip replacement in Spain is, for a Spanish person. Because
that's what I don't know. This is a private system.
I do, because I Googled it. You were told 2 to 4 years, and that could have been pushed back. Apparently, the wait for a hip replacement in Spain may last up to half a year, especially if the operation is not urgent. So if it's non-urgent, you get a new hip over in Spain in 6 months through the regular health service.
Which is not bad.
It's not bad at all. You probably could have lived with that if that was your first consultation.
Definitely.
Albeit a tough 6 months. So there's something going on there. They can do all these private operations, but at the same time, you don't seem to be waiting too long if you're just in the general health service over there. So it's a very happy story for you, James. The problem we have is when we mention this, James, often, and we've talked for many times over the years about these schemes in their different forms, and a lot of people have heard about it for the first time, or think, oh, I can't trust that, or they've heard a bad story.
Yes.
99% of the stories I hear are really positive, and they're just like yours, James.
100%. I couldn't knock it. I mean, I was going there blind. I didn't know what I was going to. The thing is, you don't have to put no money up front. The worst case scenario, it's going to cost you a flight to get out there. You know, and if you decide this is not for me, you can turn around and come back home.
Yeah.
You have your money. What I done was I got the lend of the money off the credit union, and I put it into me card. And when I landed out there, that way I wasn't carrying no cash or transferring no cash. And I said to him before I left, all I have is me card. And he said, oh, it's grand. He said, when you arrive at the hospital, they'll just take you know how your card is a limit of 5,000 or 6,000, whatever it is. I just made, over 3 days, made the payments to get the 11,000 paid. And then every time you have a physio session, you pay for it as you go, just.
So
that way then you're keeping a record, and they print you off dockets, but they need to keep a file. There's a guy who opens a file on you. Every time you go in, that file is brought out, and all the receipts are put into that file, and that's for to be submitted to the HSE when you're complete.
I mean, like, not that you're a customer as such, you're a patient, but I'll tell you another aspect of this is it sounds to me like they treated you really well. They didn't treat you like a criminal. They trusted you'd come back with the next instalment the next day and meet all your bills. You know, it sounds like a nice feeling. You know what we do here? We start sending solicitors' letters from our hospitals. Even if you're still receiving treatment. And also, too, from a taxpayer's perspective, did you get your knee done as well, or just your hip, sorry?
No, my knee was 100%.
Right, but it was the
hip.
Yeah, I get you.
The pain was masking out everything, it was all over my whole leg.
$11,500 for this type of operation probably is a decent return for the taxpayer as well. It's not OTT, or maybe it just seems to me such a big operation. Well, listen, James, thanks for the heads up, the insight. It's fascinating, and it's a quick turnaround. 1 week you're watching telly, watching a news item. Next week you're in Spain getting your operation done. The week after, you're sitting on the phone at home, pain-free, talking to me.
I know, it's unbelievable. I still can't believe it. And actually, my friend rang me when I was in Spain, a fellow I worked with for years, and he's actually taking his father out now on the 16th, because he said his father's crippled his last 2 years, and he said he's on a waiting list and he never heard nothing.
Wow.
So he's actually set it up to go out. He's made the contact now. And his father's 82.
Did you go out on your own, James? Were you nervous about that?
I went on my own. Because I'm used to travelling, and I'm young, and I'm reasonably young, and I'm active,
Yeah, I get you.
So I went to my own. Because of the time of year, it's peak season.
Yeah.
Flights are expensive. The only thing is they have a good deal done with the hotel. Even like when I was in the hotel I was staying in was the Dania Spa Hotel. And if you look that up, it's quite expensive. It's about 150 or 160 a night to stay in it. I was staying there half board because they have a deal done with the hotel. Because they'll be obviously putting people there obviously for €82 a night.
So you got back really a lot of the excess on the flights through a reduction in the hotel price. The flights were 175 out, 175 back. In peak time.
Right.
Not terrible either. Okay, well listen, James, I'm delighted. It's lovely to hear someone. And I mean this genuinely. Who I'm sure there were times you said, I can't live like this for 2 to 4 years. I'm going to have to do something. And then lo and behold, here you are feeling great.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good on this Sunday, Tuesday morning.
Unbelievable.
That you feel good, if that makes sense. So that's fantastic. Well done. All right, and we'll see if anyone follows your lead. Now, already, we've got one gentleman, a father of a friend of yours, who's been suffering for a couple of years, and he's due out.
That's right.
Yep, okay, good stuff.
Greg, just one thing before we go.
Yes, James.
It's my daughter's birthday today, Shannon McLaughlin. I want to wish her a happy birthday.
How much do you love Shannon, James?
Oh, totally.
Tell her. She's listening.
She's our world.
She's the best.
She's the best.
All right, lovely stuff. Then what's her name? Shannon?
Shannon McLaughlin.
All right, happy birthday, Shannon. And you have a happy dad, too, to celebrate your birthday with. Great stuff, James. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye-bye, James. All right, and happy birthday to you, Shannon. 086 60 25,000. I think there's a few of you listening to that today, you know, that are you're gonna be looking at that. Front loading is the big problem. That's the cost thing is an issue. But it seems very simple. The refund system, they look after it. According to James there, it's quite a fixed price. You know where you're at. They seem to have some sort of tie-in with credit unions, and obviously credit unions know the paperwork and they know that money's coming back from the HSE in a few months, so they're obviously relatively happy to be working with people on that. It sounds like it could be an option for a lot of people out there. That's James, who went out in a week and got his hip replaced.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features, delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union.
Better value lives at Dunnes Stores, with lots of ways to save on your favourite brands. Start your day right with Weetabix 48-pack, now only €5. And enjoy half price on Hunky Dory's sharing bags, now only €1.29 each. Plus, with our 10 off 50 grocery voucher, you save even more, which means every trip to Dunnes Stores means better value. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
The Green Shoes Summer Sale with up to 50% off is now on. Reductions on all top name footwear including Echo, Dr. Martens and Skechers. Also iMac, Unahili and Skechers. For great savings, visit Green Shoes in Letterkenny and Falcarra or online at greenshoes.com for the big summer sale with up to 50% off.
There's a gaggle of monsters you'll see around town, in every colour from bright pink to brown. And just like us, they have hopes, dreams and wishes. A new car, new windows, a holiday diving with fishes. They know just where to go for their dreams to come true. The local credit union who can help you out too. For all of your dreams that are big, small or strange, we've got you covered with our Monster Loan range. Monster Loans from the Credit Union. Imagine more. Loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. If you do not meet the repayments on your loan, your account will go into arrears. This may affect your credit rating, which may limit your ability to access credit in the future. Credit unions in the Republic of Ireland are regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Okay, now we're joined on the programme by golfing star, golfing legend, honorary Donegal man. Well, Donegal man now, we're claiming him fully. Paul McGinley. Hopefully you can hear me okay, Paul?
I can, Greg. How you doing? Thank you.
I know you're not in a fantastic area.
I like that.
Yeah, of course. Well, you are. The phone's not fantastic, so I'll ask one question and we'll see how we get on. You are to receive the freedom of your adopted county. Congratulations, Paul. It's a wonderful honour.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Donegal is in my blood, as you know. Mum and Dad both from Donegal, badminton family, Mum Rathmullen. All my childhood was spent in Donegal. Any holiday, Patrick's weekend, Easter, 2 or 3 months in the summer, and then obviously Christmas and Halloween as well. So any opportunity at all for Dad and Mum to get up to Donegal, 5 kids in the back of the car, and off we went. And so, yeah, I mean, I have some very, very fond memories, certainly of my childhood, and now very much of my kids as well, too. I love going to Donegal. It's probably my favourite place in the world to visit, to be quite honest and frank.
Okay, Paul, unfortunately, we're going to have to... the listeners can't hear you. I can make you out a little bit because I've got headphones on, but I know listeners at home or at work will not be able to. So maybe you might hang up and we'll try again if that's okay, Paul, because, as I say, it's a great honour for him and it's great for the county as well, and I'd love to be able to speak to him on a clean line. So we'll endeavour to get Paul back on a better line. It's just coincidence. We've had issues with 2 lines. It's just a coincidence this morning. What is aftercare like? A lot of doctors will not treat you here if you had an operation abroad. Will you have to return there to see the consultant, or will a consultant here take care of him? No, it's all done officially. It's a partnership between the HSE and Spanish hospitals. So it's all... it's not like, say, for instance, a scenario whereby someone might head to Turkey and get a procedure, and then we've had those stories in the past whereby then they come back and local hospitals have to deal with the aftercare, and there can be some controversy there. It's not like that. This is an arrangement between the state, as far as I'm aware, and Spanish hospitals. My cornea was scored in my eye, removing my cataract. Is there something that could be done about it abroad? I was told here there was not. If anyone has had the same experience and has any advice, I'd love to know. So it's a small percentage of the population, but this person had their cornea scored whilst a cataract was being removed. They've been told here there's nothing can be done, is the impression I'm getting from this text. So if you have had that experience and managed to get it resolved either at home or abroad, please let us know why. So please let us know why, and we can pass it on to that listener. 08660 25,000, WhatsApps and texts to that number. We're going to be getting Paul back online very shortly, but first we take this quick break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Declutter this summer with Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms. Inflation-beating built-in wardrobe special offer. Get a 2-metre-long wardrobe with 2 free mirrors built in for €1,099. Check us out online or book an appointment viewing in our Donegal Town showroom today on 07497 25822. Cherrymore. More bedrooms your way since 1996.
In 2018, Toyota cut through the confusion, completely ceasing production of diesel passenger cars, lowering harmful emissions and providing certainty for Irish drivers everywhere. And Kelly's Toyota are proud to be part of that hybrid electric journey. Visit Kelly's Toyota, Letterkenny or Mount Charles today to see what makes Toyota Ireland's best-selling car brand in 2021 and 2022. You'll never take a wrong turn with Toyota. Built for a better world. Best-selling claim based on most recent monthly figures.
Is the appearance of your staff important to your business? It's the first point of contact for customers when entering your premises. At C&M Embroidery in Letterkenny, they have a huge range of clothing covering all areas of the workplace. It's widely known that customers warm to and trust employees that present themselves well. Have your company name embroidered or printed on all your work uniforms. Contact C&M Embroidery on 07491 28097 and get your staff looking their best.
Hi, Greg. In relation to the foreign operations, tell your listeners to be wary when they are borrowing. It can take longer than you think to get the money refunded from the HSE. By the time the money was refunded, there was almost an extra grand on my loan in interest. Yes, definitely something to be wary about and to go in with your eyes opened, and to make sure that you can afford it and all that type of stuff. But James's story is pretty compelling. And we've also heard of other people who've got operations, forms weren't filled out correctly, and a £15,000 operation, the HSE would refund $2,500. That's the type of stuff you have to do your due diligence in advance and speak to the provider and make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. We were speaking about ATMs. 3/4 of ATMs now in Ireland are in the ownership of private companies. They're operated by unregulated private companies. This caller says, Greg, I've noticed that a lot of the ATMs in Letterkenny are now owned by private operators. I'm thinking in particular of the shopping centre, which used to be Bank of Ireland. The only ones the banks seem to have now is at their own branches, but I wonder how long that will last. Probably not very long is the reality. I think banks won out of that business. And some might say it's still sort of like a push to move us away from cash, though lots of people are moving away from cash anyway. How many TDs in the Dáil are landlords? Recently, we saw where a Fianna Fáil Minister for State is renting a Dublin one-bedroom apartment for a fee 72% higher than the government-approved housing assistant payment rate known as HAP. Is there a conflict of interest here as to how they legislate? The last figure I saw, I'm not sure if it's gone up or down, but I believe it was something in the region of 40+% of TDs were landlords, which is a big figure. Another caller says, throughout the country, in state buildings and hospitals, a Save Energy person in each department should be appointed to turn off lights and other equipment not in use. That will save on wasted energy. It all adds up. Right, let's see if we can return to future Freedom of the County recipient, Paul McGinley. Paul, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Paul. Yes, we can. I know you were getting me okay, but anyway, we're here now. Right, so you were talking of, particularly of your parents' love of Donegal, your love, and now on to a new generation that makes this honour particularly special, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Donegal has been a huge part of my life. Every school holiday, every Christmas, Easter and summer holiday was spent in Donegal. 5 kids in the back of the car and up we went. I have great memories of my childhood, certainly growing up there. And now, it's probably, to be honest, and I'm very fortunate to have travelled at most corners of the world. If you ask me where I want to go to spend one more week of my life, where I'd like to have the holiday, it would be Donegal. And I really genuinely mean that. It's a special place that really touches the heart for me every time I go up there. I just absolutely love it in so many different ways.
But you put your money where your mouth is, not literally, like, I don't mean it in that way, but in terms of your love, because, I'm thinking through the Irish Open, what you did to promote the county, and not just the obvious places, different parts of it as well. And now what you're doing through this fantastic Legends Tour, which is taking place at Rossapenna Hotel and Golf Resort, your desire to get it back there so it can be played in front of fans. It's not easy to measure, but it is grand, the reach and the impact this has in terms of getting the message of Donegal out to a massive audience, Paul.
Well, absolutely. I mean, golf is probably our biggest conduit in Ireland in terms of driving revenue and driving the economy from a tourism point of view. You go down to the southwest of Ireland, Kerry, Clare, Cork, places like that, all head of Kinsale. I mean, these golf courses are rammed out. They're charging £200, £300, £400 green fee per person per day. It's rammed out, not just this summer, but every summer next year too. If you're trying to get a tee time in any of these places, you can't get it. And these Americans in particular are coming in and they're spending tens of thousands of pounds in the country, whether it be, going to the pub, whether it be the accommodation they stay in, and not just the golf. So obviously the Tourism Ireland have very much recognised that, and it's one of the reasons why the government invests so much money into golf and the promotion of golf throughout the country. And the best way of doing that is through professional events, certainly in terms of the profile and the millions around the world that will be watching. And we use it as a hook to get people more interested in coming to Ireland and spending more time in it. Now, Donegal, to a large extent, and I've got to be on my bonnet about it, has been a little bit left out of the equation over the years in that regard. It hasn't been promoted as vigorously and as much as the southwest of Ireland has. But that is starting to change now, and we're seeing more and more money starting to get be invested in Donegal, and I'm very happy to be the kind of front and centre of that. We started with Ballyliffin a few years ago when we had a very, very successful Irish Open with Barbados style weather, and that was hugely successful. We were hoping to have this Irish Legends the last few years, but COVID put an end to certainly having crowds and having a festival that we wanted to do. But we're going to do it this year, and there's going to be some music and festival and integration of the community into it, and all the time everything's been filmed, and some of the big names in golf and are coming along. Certainly the ones aged over 50, because it's an over 50s tournament, and I'm the front and centre of that, and trying to promote Donegal. And as I say to people, if Ireland was a stock, I will be buying Donegal. I really do think the next 5-10 years there's going to be an explosion in Donegal from a tourism and an economic point of view. I really do. I think it's a undiscovered gem to a large extent, and once people get up there and see it, it's going to become more and more popular. I really do, particularly now that the southwest of Ireland is, certainly from a golf point of view, is pretty much sold out.
Yeah, and I want to focus a little bit about the tournament that's taking place, but just to your point about getting the message out there, this is not I know Donegal County Council are important in this whole process too, but we have to help ourselves, Paul, don't we? We can tend to sit back and go, well, why is nothing coming to here? Why is there not money being spent here? Why is there no particular ads focus? Sometimes you have to grab the bull by the horns and say, well, if other people aren't going to do it, or if agencies maybe aren't going to commit as much, we have to start doing it ourselves here. And it's being shown to work.
Yeah, absolutely. One everybody loves to look at fun. When there's fun happening, people ignite with that. And if that goes out in social media content and looks like everybody's having a good time and there's a party atmosphere going on, I think that kind of engages people. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I hosted the Irish Open down in Lahinch in 2019, and it was incredibly successful, and we had sellout crowds. And the model that I tried to do there from my experience of golf and my little bit of business as well too was to create a festival and to create a good vibe and a good feel and a family atmosphere, and then put golf in the center of it. Rather than having a golf event and trying to build things around it, I tried to reverse engineer it. And that's what I'm trying to do here in Rosapenna next week as well too, is the same thing. I'm trying to create a festival, create a vibe. Hopefully the people are going to come along, all ages come along, party in the street, having a few drinks in the street. Hopefully the weather's going to be kind to us, have some music in the street, engage the local GAA community, all of those things to help promote and people have a good time. And when people have a good time, that's photographed, that's filmed, and that goes out in social media, and people look and say, oh my God, that place looks amazing. And when they see the scenery of the Rosapenna golf course and not the quality of the golf course and the quality of the hotel and the scenery of Donegal and Sheephaven Bay, they're going to go, oh my God, that's some place. I want to really go and see that. And look, everybody seems to be very happy there, having a really good time. Yeah. I want to go and be part of that. And that's what I'm trying to do in a small way, trying to promote Donegal in that way.
Yeah, now people can get their tickets to go and watch the golf, and it's over 4 days. There's celebrities, and then obviously there's a serious element to it from a competition perspective, and then everything that's around it. It's been priced at a price point too that makes it accessible. The music that is on the Downings GA pitches is free, and some tickets, many tickets have already gone, but. Get out and watch these guys, be it the celebs in the early part of the festival or the event, or later on when the pros and former pros are playing. I mean, this is going to be a treat for anyone, even with a passing interest in golf, because I don't think you've ever really seen someone hit a golf ball until you've stood to the side of or behind a pro hit a golf ball, Paul.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. So the Tuesday, the 16th of August is a celebrity pro-am, and a lot of celebrities are coming along. A lot of ex-soccer players and people from the music and entertainment industry are coming along. And as I say, the golfers that are playing, they're not the elite golfers, they're not the Rory McIlroys of the world, but there's some big names, some very big names from age 50 and older. It's called the Seniors Tour. So they're coming along, and it'll be a mixture of the celebrities playing with some local amateurs. And some amateurs that travel as well too have paid money to come along and be part of it, as long as they're professionals. That's the pro-am on the Tuesday, and then from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it culminates and finishes on a Saturday with a big party on Saturday night, as you say. And Donegal County Council have been amazing in this, and the guards as well too have been tremendous in making all of this happen, and I can't thank them enough for that. And it's going to culminate with a big party on the Saturday night, and on the 18, 19 and 20 we're going to have 3 days. And every professional will have an amateur partner, and they'll play as a team, and that's what it will be. So it's not all about the seriousness of maybe the Irish Open, where all the best players in Europe come along and play the Irish Open and showcase Ballyliffin and Donegal the way they did. This is more of a laid back vibe. The money is a lot smaller in terms of prize money compared to what we would have played for in the Irish Open, but. And as a result, people are there to have a really, really good time and good fun, more than anything else. And hopefully that's going to be the case. And a lot of recognizable celebrities that people will all know, household names, are going to be playing. And then we're going to have, as I say, a big party on the Saturday night, a big street party on the Saturday night in Downings.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and these guys have operated, and some do with it. Anyone who watches the senior tour will see the skill sets that's there. Brilliant, Paul. It's a bit of a random one. The punditry world is a relatively small world, and there's different networks and all that kind of stuff. Did you see Nick Faldo's goodbye from the CBS team? It was something else. I don't know if you saw the footage, but a brilliant piece of television.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it on social media. I'm away on holiday at the moment down in Portugal, so I didn't get to see a whole lot of it. But I mean, look, Nick has not just been a tremendous player and six-time major champion, but I think he's nearly 15 years now doing TV. It's amazing how quickly the years get put in, and he's built himself a big reputation over in America. I work a lot with him in Sky. He comes in and does a number of guest appearances with us at Sky, and I've always enjoyed him. I've enjoyed playing with him when I played on tour with him, and it's a small community, the TV community, and he works with CBS over in America, and I work with NBC. So, but at the same time, we do blend through sports, and I've always enjoyed playing with him. And of course, he brings a lot of integrity to the situation because of who he is and what he's achieved in the game, and he was able to translate that into a very, very successful TV career on top of his golf career. And it's a very difficult thing to do. Believe me, I can speak from experience. It's very difficult to transfer into the world of media. You guys do it very easily; it comes naturally to you. But when you're a sports person, to try to transition into being talking about the game and trying to be eloquent about it and give insights on it, it takes a lot of learning, and it's not everybody can do it.
Yeah, okay, listen, it's a bit of a random mention, but people could check that out on social media. It's a great bit of telly. Looking forward to see you next week. Paul, thanks so much, and congratulations once again on your well-deserved honour, the freedom of County Donegal. We really appreciate your time and being available for us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
luck with everything in Donegal.
Thanks so much, Paul. All right, and enjoy the rest of your holiday. We'll be back after the news, which is coming to you a minute late. My apologies. Stay right where you are. The Community Garda information item coming up in the next hour.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. The Lifford man who died in a drowning incident while holidaying abroad has been named locally as Martin Duffy. He died while on a family holiday in Greece. Mr. Duffy was in his 50s, married with 3 children and a lecturer at Northwest Regional College in Derry. He was also involved in schoolboy soccer in Donegal and was a member of the executive of the Donegal Junior League. Gardaí are appealing for information about an assault in Dunloe in the early hours of Sunday. They say when they received a report of the incident, they found a man with multiple injuries. He was rushed to hospital. Gardaí believe sometime between 1 and 3 the man was assaulted near the old Bank of Ireland building on Main Street. Anyone with information is being asked to contact Gardaí in Dunloe on 9521000 or any Garda station. A former Ryder Cup captain says he believes Donegal is set to explode in popularity among golfers and tourists in the next 5 years. Paul McGinley, who has family connections in Donegal, will receive the Freedom of the County on Monday next, ahead of the Legends Tour in Downings. Paul McGinley's promotion of the Irish Open in Ballyliffin and his hosting of the Legends Tour at the Rosapenna Hotel and Golf Resort later this month have gained admiration in the county, and Donegal County Council is to pass that honour on to him next Monday. Well, speaking to Greg a short time ago on the 9 till noon show, Paul McGinley said that Donegal has been ignored a bit in the past when it comes to promotion of golf tourism, but he believes that's changing.
Donegal, to a large extent, and I've got to be on my bonnet about it, has been a little bit left out of the equation over the years in that regard. It hasn't been promoted as vigorously and as much as the southwest of Ireland has. But that is starting to change now, and we're seeing more and more money starting to, be invested in Donegal, and I'm very happy to be the kind of front and centre of that.
A new report from HICWA says people with disabilities have better outcomes if they live in community settings rather than congregated ones. The report says that 2,419 people are currently living in various institutions across the state. That's down from around 4,000 10 years ago. Well, Social Democrats TD Holly Cairns says since this was highlighted in 2012, the government is still not acting fast enough to provide independent living facilities.
The fact that a decade later there's still nearly 2,500 people living in these unsuitable institutions, suffering a diminished quality of life as a result, shows that it's not a priority for the HSE. We know when government really prioritise something, they can move mountains to change things, and it doesn't seem like this particular situation has ever been given that time and effort.
Irish Water says it's watching closely to see if restrictions will be needed as Ireland heads for another heatwave. While water levels drop because of the hot weather, demand tends to increase. Interventions are already underway at 13 supplies across the country to ensure they don't run dry, while 60 others are on a watch list amid concerns they could reach critical levels and may need to be restricted. Tom Cuddy, head of operations at Irish Water, says they're hoping they won't have to take action to limit supplies.
We are focusing very much on interventions which will have low impact or no impact on people. In some cases, we're tankering water to reservoirs at night time from supplies that have sufficient water. We are applying pressure reductions where appropriate, particularly at night time. We are bringing online some backup sources that may have been offline for a while. We're also cross-connecting adjacent schemes, so we may be able to supply or change the boundaries between different schemes.
The government is considering giving the central bank power to regulate ATM operators. The Irish Independent reports today 3 out of 4 cash machines are now handled by unregulated cash distribution companies. Bank of Ireland and AIB have sold a combined 1,200 machines to unregulated operators in the past 3 years. By the end of this year, only 25% of ATMs will belong to banks, compared to 100% in 2015. And tributes have been paid to Olivia Newton-John, who died last evening, aged 73. She passed away as a result of cancer. Derry-born Eurovision winner and former MEP Dana Rosemary Scallon was a friend of the singer and actress when she was trying to break into show business in London. Dana says Hollywood fame never changed her.
I can honestly say she never changed. From the young girls at the back of the Palladium and then to worldwide stardom, massive stardom with Grease. And I met her after that a couple of times, and she never changed. She was just a very gentle, kind, smiling, genuine person.
Well, the forecast and Met Éireann tell us that any lingering mist or fog should be well clear by now. It's going to be a very good day. It'll be dry and it'll be warm. Top temperatures this afternoon will hit between 20 and 23 degrees Celsius. Some light breezes about, but nothing serious. And we're back with news headlines again at 11 o'clock. Until then, from the news team, have a very good morning. The obituary notices for this Tuesday morning, the 9th of August. The death has taken place of Kathleen Desmond, née Canning, 22, Almagovan Park, Derry. Funeral from her home tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 for 1 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Ardmore. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time, please, from 10 p.m. until 11 a.m. The Mass can be viewed live via the church webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Ark Recovery, Business Park, Bay Road, Derry. The death has taken place of Mary Levy, 3, New Houses, Termon, formerly of Tully Mountain, Remelton. Her remains will repose at Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountain Top, Letterkenny, from 6 o'clock to 7:45 this evening, with removal at 8 o'clock to St Columba's Church, Kilmacrennan, to repose overnight. Requiem Mass tomorrow morning at 11, followed by burial in Termon Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Catherine Harkin, née Conahan, Drummond, Letterkenny, and formerly of Rathdonnell. Catherine's remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:15 to the Church of the Irish Martyrs, Letterkenny, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, which can be viewed live on the parish Facebook page. Interment afterwards in Conwell Cemetery, Letterkenny. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. Rosary at 9 with family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The death has taken place of Mary Foster Stewart, née Cole, Cawhill Park, Derry. A funeral service will take place tomorrow afternoon in Monrear Presbyterian Church at 1:30, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations if desired to Marie Curie Cancer Care, care of Mrs Joan Doherty, 20 Dunhue Park, Victoria Road, Londonderry. The death has taken place of Jean McKelvey, Doohery. Her remains will repose at Midlands Funeral Home, Dunlow, from 5 o'clock this evening, with removal at 7 to St Connell's Church, Doohery, for 7:30 to repose overnight. Funeral Mass tomorrow at 12 noon, followed by interment in the Old Cemetery. The death has taken place of Charlie McCafferty, Trentaboy Drumkeen, and formerly of Strabane. Funeral from his home this morning at 10:20 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Drumkeen, at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The death has occurred of Anne Crawford, née Sweeney, Kerry-Keel, 239 Rossuila, Old Town, Letterkenny. Funeral Mass at 11 o'clock this morning in St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, with burial in Leck Cemetery. Mass can be viewed live on steunanscathedral.ie. Family time, please, before the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Con MacDade, funeral director. And the death has occurred of Moya Ellis, 103 Blue Cedars, Ballybofey, formerly of Bishop Street, Derry, reposing at the Church of Mary Immaculate, Stranraer. Requiem Mass there this morning at 11 o'clock, with interment afterwards in the City Cemetery, Derry. Requiem Mass can be viewed at churchservices.tv. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Good morning. You're welcome back to the programme. Now, I just want to let you know that we are in the midst of our summer mega cash draw. We've pulled out all the stops this summer with a bonanza 20 grand cash up for grabs. That's €20,000 to be won from the 12th to the 2nd of September, the 12th of August. Every Friday, one lucky winner will be drawn out and will win €2,500 in cash. Now, you would have a hole for that, I think. The first draw is only 3 days away, by the way. We will be giving away €2,500 on this programme on Friday, the 12th of August on the 9 till noon show. There'll be a further €2,500 grand given away the following week and around the Northwest after that, the Jive Time show. And then on the 2nd of September, the Naughty Alarm Clock. And then on that day also, €10,000 cash will be given away on the 9 till noon show. Right, so if you want to be in all draws, right, all 5 draws, you have to buy your ticket before Friday. Okay, that's the caveat, because you want your best chance of winning money, don't you? And if you can afford it and well within your means, tickets are €10. And you can get them on our website, highlandradio.com. If you want to buy them as gifts for people or group in with other people and get a few extra tickets, you can do that too. Because if you buy €50 of tickets, you get an extra ticket for free. So it's 6 for 50. If you spend €80, you get 10 tickets. We will close the lines half an hour before the draw on Friday. So you've got between now and then to make sure you're in all 5 draws. So if you've a tenner spare and it's something that you want to do, go on our website, highlandradio.com, and enter our big summer cash bonanza giveaway. And as I say, if you want to be in all 5 draws, we'll then buy your ticket between now and Friday. So you can go to our website, highlandradio.com, and you can order the tickets there. And maybe you don't want to use the internet, or maybe there's an issue with that, or you're not online. Give us a call right now, 07491 25000, and we will hook you up. 07491 25000. Or if you're in Letterkenny and you want to call in, though, of course, you can do so. We're up at the mountaintop here, but ideally on the phone or online, because it's easier for everyone. All right, so good luck if you're entering that today. I really can't wait. I'm going to be giving away, how much am I going to be giving away effectively? 12,500, okay, which is fantastic. I'm so excited about that. So the first draw is on the 12th. That's between now and Friday. So if you want to be in all 5 draws, that's 4 draws for 2,500 and 1 draw for 10,000. Go on to our website, highlandradio.com, get your tickets there. And a lot of you would enter massive competitions online, massive competitions where you have tens of thousands of people entering. And they're fantastic, and not lots of people, well, certainly some people win, but the odds are huge. This is for us here in Donegal, right? So you have a better chance of winning because the numbers will be smaller entering, in my opinion. So I say, if you want to, if you have a tenner spare and you say, hey, be a bit of fun, well, then get your ticket now, highlandradio.com. But as I say, if you want to be in all 5 draws for the 4 2.5s and the 110, then get it between now and Friday. If you're not on the internet, or some people don't like putting cards in on the internet, that's fine. That's up to each and every one of you. You can give us a call now, 07491 25000. We'll be giving away 2,500 on Friday, then 2,500 every week, every Friday on different shows, culminating in the big one, 10K going to be given away, which would, in this day and age, it might be something that you get done. It might be changing your car, something done around the house. Or you know what? It could be just taking the pressure off until we get through the worst of the winter. All right. So anyway, good luck if you are involved in that, and good luck if you're playing bingo today too.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday the 9th of August. You're playing on the brown sheet. The reference number is S17. It's game number 32. The numbers are 73, 60, 18, 12, 71, 13, 26, 80, 72, and finally 79. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate holiday loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
New this week in Home Store and More. All pet beds, toys and accessories are half price. But better hurry, because when all the half price pet beds, toys and accessories are gone, they're gone. Also, all 100% cotton children's duvet sets and all garden wall art is still half price. But when all the half price 100% cotton children's duvet sets and all the half price garden wall art is gone, they're definitely gone. Order online before 2 p.m. for next day delivery, or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
Your specialty is quality tiles, bathroom suites and wooden floors. Who is the best range of tiles in Donegal?
Crawford Tiles.
The best wood flooring?
Crawford Tiles.
The best bathroom suites?
Crawford Tiles.
5-day bathroom refits?
Crawford Tiles.
And who's been tampering with my questions?
That'd be me.
Crawford Tiles, Castlefin. That'd be them. 07491 43942.
Don't forget to get your car serviced in iMotors Letterkenny or Malin. Servicing keeps your car efficient and safe. We service Kias, Nissans and all other brands. Call today or book online at imotors.ie.
Ancient tales, storied traditions, wild meadows, meandering rivers, medieval might, Georgian splendour. Ireland's rich heritage is all around us, and it's waiting to be discovered. Celebrate our natural, cultural and built heritage and ensure our past has a future. Join us this Heritage Week from August 13th to 21st. Visit heritageweek.ie to plan your week and find out more. This is a programme of the Heritage Council, supported by the local authorities, Heritage Officers Network and the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025.
OK, you're welcome back to the 9 till noon show. 17 minutes past 10 this Tuesday, the 9th of August, and it's time for the latest edition of the Community Garda information item. And we're joined in studio now by Garda Niall Maguire, attached to the Falcarra Garda station. Niall, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
It's great to see the good weather, isn't it? But even, and I'm not sure if this was already down for a conversation, but even coming in to work this morning, pedestrians already out on the road, cyclists out. I've seen a couple of motorcyclists out for a beautiful drive. It must have been a lot of activity too, because a lot of people now would see the next few days to get the round bales and then there's the rest of us driving around. Unfortunately, we are seeing an awful lot of avoidable deaths on our roads. And this next couple of days, we just have to keep our eyes out for each other, Paul, don't we?
Absolutely,
not
Greg.
Paul, sorry, Niall.
We had, just since we were on last Tuesday, we've had, in Donegal alone, we've had 34 vehicle crashes. And some of these have been, people have been left with injuries. 34 is quite a high number for all the size we have here in Donegal. So
that's a really interesting statistic, because we focus on, and quite rightly so, and part of the campaign is, and people would have seen that speed sign with the amount of people that have died on our roads. That doesn't take into account, obviously, the stress and tribulations of getting a car repaired or whatever, but the injuries, the post-traumatic stress and sometimes life-changing injuries too, Niall. Those figures don't always take account of that, so it's interesting
listen,
to hear.
It takes up a lot of time. Even people that aren't seriously injured, that they're taken in by ambulance, they're having to wait in A&E for 8 or 9 hours, and they're adding to the delays there, and they're discharged immediately. But it takes a lot of money and time on behalf of all services. So some of them are maybe not as avoidable as others, but if another stat here that it's not good either, but unfortunately it's a stat that's repeated every week in Donegal. Since last Tuesday we had 15 drugged and drunken drivers arrested. So that's again quite a number for the size of Donegal.
And nationally we're seeing an increase in drug and drink driving detections after a period of sort of those receding somewhat. Are we getting more lax? Is the message not getting through? Because we can't. It's not like we're not told the guards are going to be out. It's not like we're not told there's going to be, that you could get caught if you do this. So why are we seeing that the figures going in the wrong direction? I wonder in 2022.
I think there's definitely an increase in availability of drugs, Greg. That's I'm quite happy to say that. But also, our ability to detect has also increased. We have better equipment and in relation to testing for drugs on the roadside. We have more of these Draeger machines that are able to do the main three types of drugs, and then we have excellent people on the traffic corps in Buncrana and Letterkenny.
Yeah, and I think too, people should realise that it's a difficult conversation to have. It's not like alcohol because drugs are illegal, but people need to be aware of the half-life of drugs as well. How long they're in your system after you've taken them as well. It might be more easy to sort of describe the situation with alcohol. Certainly not dependent on the drugs, the strain of drugs, where they've been gotten. Yeah. But it's difficult to have that convo because you're not supposed to be taking drugs in the first place, of course.
Listen, it's not a Garda issue, Greg, solely. Yeah. It's a societal issue and a health issue, and we're only one small part of it. And unfortunately, we seem to be under the magnifying glass in relation to drugs. We're never going to stop drugs, full stop. We're not going to stop drug drivers. It's part of the community, and we just have to manage as best we can.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So listen, as some of the hedges are out as well, and it's just you see bits and bobs when you're on the road.
Yeah, the hedges are pretty bad this year. Yeah, they've caused a few accidents. The hedges. Yeah, they're not being trimmed. I don't know, is that to do with biodiversity or what? But they just seem to be quite overgrown. Yeah.
And people are afraid to go in because they don't know what's in, or they're obstructing a turn off. And that's the point I was trying to get across. Is there's a lot of factors that could make the next few days just to make sure that we just take that extra little bit of care.
Yeah, it goes back to the point. Nobody thinks it's going to be them, but unfortunately, there's over 50 people this week that it was them, that wasn't expecting it to be them.
That's a huge amount of people.
Yeah, huge amount, and that's just Donegal.
I don't want conflating issues, but you look at say for instance, the HSE released a press release saying there's 27 people in hospital with COVID. As I say, this sounds like a strange comparison, but almost double that were involved in RTCs in Donegal in the last week. If you know what I mean, that's the kind
not
of
all
scale.
Were injured. Some of them were just material damage.
But they were involved in them. But that's the scale we're talking about here. Just to put it in context with another statistic that people might be interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's get to some appeals, if that's all right, Niall.
Well, Greg, sorry, I got one that I haven't given this morning. I was coming in this morning with a big happy head to announce that we had no burglaries this week, but I just got a phone call there 10 minutes ago. We had a burglary down in Greencastle.
Right. Do you want to start with that because it's time sensitive, or do you have much info at this
point?
No,
if I could just run through the details with that one, Greg. So this occurred, I think there was a regatta on down in Clonmany there over the weekend, and this obviously occurred during that. So it occurred between Saturday and yesterday when it was discovered in the evening time at 4 p.m. A chap had his shed broken into, and a lot of boating and sailing equipment was taken. So it's property that's easily identifiable. I have a list of some of it here, Greg. There's a few buoys have been taken, trout nets taken, 5 steel lobster pots, 200 metres of 1-inch blue rope, 2 chests, 3 sets of wooden oars, 4 steel anchors, 200 metres of 2-inch rope. I don't have great descriptions of them, but that's a part of the list that was taken. It's all boat related, all nautical equipment. So if anybody has any information in relation to a burglary that occurred, it's near the pier on Greencastle, beside the marina at Shore Walk. So if anybody noticed anything suspicious, or indeed can help us in tracing back this property or identifying who's responsible, please get in touch with the Gardaí in Buncrana, please.
You hope someone saw something, because that would take a while to shift that, and that's someone's livelihood that you've just taken.
Absolutely.
There, because that's commercial equipment. Okay, thanks for that, Niall. Right, an assault in Dunlow.
Yeah, on the 7th of August, my colleagues in Dunlow received a report of a male having been allegedly badly beaten at Main Street, Dunlow. When the guards arrived, they observed a man with multiple injuries, and he was taken to the Letterkenny Hospital by ambulance. This assault occurred near the Old Bank of Ireland on the main street, Dunloe, sometime between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. on the 7th of August, which was Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So if anybody can assist in our inquiries, then maybe you could call my colleagues in Dunloe on 074 952 1000 or confidentially on 1800 666 111, or indeed any Garda station.
Now, we also had some messages in about a young person who was the victim of what's been described as a bad assault in Letterkenny in the early hours of this morning on the Port Road. Very recent, of course. Do we have any information on that at this point now?
Yeah, I made a few inquiries in relation to that. Yeah, at 3 a.m. this morning, Greg, on the Port Road, there was a young man walking home, and he had a few friends with him, and he was badly beaten and knocked out. So we're waiting for him to be treated at the hospital before we take a full statement off him. But there definitely was witnesses available to this one. So 3 a.m. on the Port Road, if you noticed an altercation taking place there, please get in touch with my colleagues in Letterkenny, 071 67 100.
Yeah, I just wonder if people engaging in this activity now, fully understand the consequences of it.
Again, Greg, we had 20 assaults this week, 7 of which caused serious harm, and one of them was a colleague of mine's working yet.
Can we talk about that?
No, I wouldn't think so. No,
right.
No, we're not looking for an 8. We have the chap that was involved
in the line of duty.
Yeah,
oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. But what we've seen the one punch campaigns now. Like these people who think it's just a tear up in the middle of the night or something like that. There, I'm not in any way trying to justify it. Someone goes over, cracks their head. Their lives, the perpetrators and the victims' lives are ruined.
Yeah, listen, we've talked about it 100 times before, Greg. One punch attack can have life-changing injuries, or it can land a man in jail for the rest of his life as well.
Okay. Right, any information on either of those assaults, Gardaí, very keen. And you can imagine that the victims and their families will be very keen to see some progress in that. So if you can help, and even if you want to use the confidential line, 1800 666 111. Now, a tractor damaged in Milford now.
Yeah, Greg, very quickly, on the 7th of the August past there on Saturday, a report was made to my colleagues in Milford of damage to a red Zetor tractor parked in a field in Golan, Milford. All 3 panes of glass in the tractor were smashed. So if anyone maybe has any information and can help us and why this was done or who done it, please contact my colleagues in Milford, 074 9153 060.
All right, damage to the exterior of a takeaway in Letterkenny.
Yeah, just before 3 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Normally the streets would be pretty quiet on a Tuesday morning at that time. On the 2nd of August, my colleagues in Letterkenny attended at the Mumbai Spice takeaway. People would know it, an Indian takeaway there opposite the library on the Oliver Plunkett Road. A young female was observed on CCTV kicking the glass door until they're completely smashed. We have good CCTV, so I suppose maybe the young lady, if she could contact the guards in Letterkenny rather than us having to go knock on her door, it might work out a little bit better for her.
All right, so if that were you, come forward, Gardaí, Letterkenny 0749167 100, or call up to the station. Right, Buncrana Garda Station Open Day. What's happening here, Niall?
Yeah, on the 21st of August, so that's in 2 weeks' time, between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. We're having like a meet and greet with the local Gardaí, and we've had these before in Letterkenny and Buncrana, and they've been quite successful. Get a look at the Garda facilities, if you like, and the vehicles, and have any curiosities you might have, any questions, we can try and answer them. There will be a sensory hour between 1 and 2 p.m, which basically means that there'll be no, kids like to come in and try the sirens and the lights and stuff. So between 1 and 2 p.m, we're facilitating people with sensory needs.
It's a good idea, I suppose, because we can have preconceived notions installed into us. A good day for mums or dads or caregivers to bring young ones up.
Absolutely. Just pop in for half an hour and see what's going on, and they'll show you the facilities. And people always have questions, and don't be shy to ask, because the guards, they love talking. Greg, if I could mention a few bits of property, I tend not to do that very much, but maybe we should be. We get a lot of property handed into us, and unfortunately a lot of it's not handed back. So, a lot of the times it's just small things, but sometimes
so if you've lost something recently, prick your ears now.
Yeah, well, the people in Clonmany, whatever's going on down in Clonmany, there seem to be just dropping stuff all over the place. So Ballyliff in Clonmany, I suppose they had the agriculture show there and they had a wee festival there, so maybe that's
you put your handbag or your purse or something down to have a dance now.
Maybe that's it, or maybe you have a hole in your pocket, I don't know. But there was a small amount of cash at the agriculture show handed into the guards on the 2nd of August, and then a black lady's purse on the 5th of August was handed into the guards in Clonmany with a small amount of cash in it. And then on these are all different dates, Greg. On the 6th of August in Clonmany, a orange and yellow wallet was handed into the guards. So they can all be recovered at Buncrana Garda Station.
Okay.
Then on the New Line Road in Letterkenny, which is beside the Garda Station, there's a little grotto there. Some people might know it. A set of keys, one with a little Lego figure on it, the Joker, little Lego with one arm on him, with a set of keys. So somebody might be glad to get them back. And a small bag of cannabis was located at Clonmany yesterday on the 8th of August. So if anybody wants to claim that, come in and talk to us.
Is there anything else?
No, lock your cars. We've had a few unlocked cars with stuff taken from them, and it's just I don't know why people aren't locking their cars and leaving money.
I'm trying to think, is my car locked outside? But
I'll take it now anyway, Greg, and we'll see.
But do you know what I mean? Like it's and if stuff's taken out of your car, that's the last time you don't lock it.
Absolutely. Listen, we're all guilty of it, Greg. Yeah,
Right.
I don't mean to be condescending, but just a reminder, lock your car. Yeah.
Sometimes we need a bit of tough love now.
Yeah.
All right, listen, thank you very much indeed, as always.
Thank you, Greg.
That's Garda Niall McGuire, and best wishes to your colleague as well, by the way, of course. I'm sure the listeners...
He's not seriously injured, Greg, but
still,
unfortunately it's something that we see quite frequently.
You don't pull on the uniform expecting that to happen to you, but Gardaí know it's part of it, unfortunately. Okay, thank you. That's Garda Niall McGuire from the Falcara Garda Station. That was a Community Garda item for this Tuesday. It will be back with you on the 9 till noon show next Tuesday, but for now we take a quick break. See you soon.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features, delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union.
At Ulster Bank, we are closing. And as a bank that is closing, we've reduced some of our services. What this means for our customers is reduced counter services in branch, no foreign exchange or night save services, and less Ulster Bank ATMs. For customers who still have current or deposit accounts, you really do need to start considering other options. Our branches remain open, and we are here to help. Switch your clothes at any Ulster Bank branch, or log on to ulsterbank.ie. Ulster Bank Ireland DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The legends are coming.
The legends of golf are coming.
The McGinley Foundation presents Irish Legends from the 16th to the 20th of August, teeing off at Rosapena Hotel and Golf Resort. The Festival of Golf starts on Tuesday the 16th with a celebrity series from the world of sport and entertainment, including Keith Duffy, Niall Quinn, James Nesbitt and many more. Let's hope their golf skills are up to the challenge. The professionals will take to the fairways from Thursday the 18th with major winners, Ryder Cup captains. It's packed with many of golfing greats. Buy your ticket now and avail of the launch offer for only €10 per adult ticket at legendstour.com. Offer ends the 8th of August. Irish Legends presented by the McGinley Foundation.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why. The Euro Millions jackpot is an estimated €40 million. Play responsibly, in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
For all your training needs, Northwest Forestry Services Training Department Ballybuffet offer a wide range of courses from training bodies such as NPTC City and Guilds, QQI, LADRA and ABA International. Courses include all land-based services such as chainsaw, tree climbing and rescue, pesticides, working in heights and ATV training. Other courses offered include first aid responder, manual handling and building safety, to name but a few. For a full list of training courses and availability, contact Northwest Forestry Services Ballybuffet on 074 91 32033.
Now, the sad reality of life is that at some point we all move on to whatever is next for us, and that is obviously in the celebrity world too. And sadly, we hear of deaths relatively regularly, but I haven't seen such a reaction in a while to the public reaction following the announcement of the passing of Olivia Newton-John, just 73. Her passing was confirmed last night. She passed away at her home in Southern California after enduring cancer. We are joined on the line now by Donna, a close friend to Olivia Newton-John in the 1970s. Donna, good morning to you, and sorry to be speaking to you under these circumstances. I'm sure you've got lovely memories with Olivia to cherish, if that brings comfort.
Well, good morning, Greg. I have to say I felt the same sense of shock when I heard last night that Olivia had died. And we met in actually just after, not long after Eurovision. And I remember it so clearly. You know, one of those moments in time where you just, for some reason, it stays very clear in your mind. And I was working in the London Palladium for some reason. I don't remember what it was. But I came out the stage door, and it was Bruce Welch of The Shadows was standing there. And I got to know The Shadows. I was a big fan of The Shadows through the 60s. And Bruce was standing there with a very pretty blonde girl standing beside him. And they were actually boyfriend, girlfriend at the time. And he said, Dana, I have a demo disc of a song that I think, should be your follow-up single. And he said, this is Olivia, and she's just moved from Australia, and she sung the demo. She's singing on the demo. And, she was very, almost shy, kind of retiring, but warm, a nice warmth to her. And that was the first time we met, and I ended up recording the song. I think somewhere I still have the demo. And she had a beautiful, clear, crystal clear voice. And the song's called I Will Follow You. Pardon me. Now, it didn't actually chart. But for some reason, that moment stayed in my mind. And then we had a mutual group of friends. I'm so sorry, Greg. Just excuse me a second.
No problem. Take your time. I'll pull the phone line back so you can have a good clear.
Well, just caught up at the minute. But, we have mutual friends. So we kept in touch, and she was regularly on British television. And then she began to have hits in England. And she wasn't really a country singer. But in 1974, she sang for England in Eurovision, and she probably would have placed higher, but ABBA, of course, won that year. And then I think the plan was she needed to, really at that time, Europe was a tremendous market and leading the world, but everybody wanted to break into America. Yeah. But there was a resistance to Olivia's, she had a couple of, chart successes, but not big. And how they did it was they brought her in through Canada, and they brought her in with country music. And there was actually resistance in the country market because they knew she wasn't a born and bred country singer, but she won them over. And of course, with Grease, she became an even bigger worldwide star. And we met not long after that, and she was just the same Olivia.
Because that type of success can change you if you're the type of person, Donna. If you are the type, that can go to your head. But wasn't the case with her?
Yes. No, not at all. Not at all. She just remained the same girl, feet on the ground. But, I think to a lot of that going to your head and not being able to control it, is often deep down rooted in insecurity. And I think Olivia came from a very solid family, supportive background. found people who were friends of Olivia were friends for life. I mean, John found, who was working with her in Australia, and then wrote and produced records for her in England, and wrote the 2 huge hit songs from Greece, and sang with her in the Olympics in Sydney. That was a lifelong friendship, and that was the kind of friendship people had with Olivia. And we didn't see each other on a regular basis, not at all. But when I would meet Olivia, it was like that kind of friendship that I have with my school friends. We might see each other for 4 years, and we meet like we've never been apart. So it was like that with Olivia. You know, she was a genuinely thoughtful, kind woman, but she had a great sense of humour and a wonderful smile. And she was a good singer, Greg.
Yeah.
She was a really good singer.
What is interesting too is people's connection with their fans, and you know, a lot of people would have they would know her songs, and they would know she's a nice person, but she continued to have and engage with a huge group of fans that stayed with her literally, you know, for close on 50 years, and that's testimony to the type of person she obviously was then, because you know, people come and go, and people's fame can be fleeting, but you have to be a certain type of person to have a very big, large, loyal fan base for the best of half a century.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also I think the fact that she, you know, she didn't have a rose-coloured life. You know, she had some major challenges in her life, and those were shared with the people who knew her, and with all of us. We were all aware, you know, that her husband just disappeared, or her partner disappeared, and was gone from her life, that her beautiful daughter, you know, struggled with an eating disorder, which thank God she got over. And then, of course, her battle with breast cancer, which spanned from the early 90s until today. I mean, that takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to keep going through, you know, a diagnosis of breast cancer. But when you share not just the good times with someone, but when you share the difficulties that they're going through, and in many ways, I think we were inspired by her courage and her strength. It's a different kind of relationship then. It's not just the songs, you know, it's not just her beautiful looks or what the beautiful dresses. Or it was more than that. You got to know the whole person. And I genuinely felt very, very sad at the news.
Donna, listen, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you indeed.
Not at all, Craig. Sorry for all the cookie coffee.
No. We appreciate you working through that with us. Thanks, Donna. Take care
All
of
right,
yourself,
take care
and
of
see you
yourself.
soon. All right, take care. That's Donna Rosemary Scanlon there. And Olivia Newton-John did spend time in Donegal as well, I think in the Dunfanaghy area. If you've any memories of that, share them with us. 08660 25,000. Some of your comments, please play Let It Be in memory of Olivia this morning. Hopelessly devoted to you, please, Greg. R.I.P. Olivia. And a number of you saying they want to hear You're the One That I Want. And some of you describing it in very different ways. The majority went for You're the One That I Want. So what we're going to do is we're going to play that. And I would say over the course of the day, here and elsewhere too, you'll hear all of her hits. Kevin says, sorry to hear about the sad passing of Olivia Newton-John. She was 73 and still as vibrant as ever, and started up a breast cancer research centre in Australia a while back when diagnosed. Thanks to Aidan Murphy, devoted the final hour last night to her vast music history. I hadn't realised she was the Eurovision 74 entry for the UK. She was born there. She came fourth to Sweden, of course. And Kevin points out that both Sweden and UK give each other nil points. Which didn't matter as Sweden still won with that new group you may have heard of. They were ABBA. What a year to enter the Eurovision Song Contest. All right, listen, thanks to Donna. Thanks to you for texting in. As I say, if you have any memories of Olivia when she was in Donegal, share them with us. 08660 25,000 or call 07491 25,000. Walter there, who paid a wonderful tribute to Olivia Newton-John, and of course Olivia Newton-John. That is the one that one. There was so many to choose from. Many of you texting in with your congratulations to golfing legend Paul McGinley, who was on the show with us before 10. Congratulations, Paul, on the well-deserved award. This is Donegal, the free. What's the actual? Can't remember the actual title of it. And the Donegal Association Dublin should take note that Paul McGinley should be made Donegal Person of the Year for 2023, a great ambassador for the county. Well, that is done by way... Actually, I think you have to be born in Donegal to qualify for that, do you not? Which is archaic. And I have great respect for that organisation, by the way, but I believe you have to actually be born in Donegal to qualify for the Donegal Person of the Year. I'm open to correction on that. But Paul born in Dublin. If that's still the case, I'm sure it's something that probably needs to be... looked at, particularly in this day and age. Right. Throughout the country in state buildings and hospitals, we've read that one already. Greg, you came across that you're in support of people on social welfare. Where's your head? I'm living in a small town, and I can tell you that the families on social welfare are better off and have more than working people because their partners can work and are undeclared. Time you woke up. Okay, I've been told to wake up before, funny enough. Wouldn't be my first rodeo in being told that. Am I in support? Yeah, I mean, is this? Do people generally believe that everyone on social welfare is living the high life? 086 60 25,000. James must have had money in the credit union in the first place. The credit union would not lend you money if you've no savings. Well, it's certainly worth something we need to. It's something we need to explore there. I'm not sure. I don't want to put anyone off, and I don't want to put anyone on incorrectly either. My mother's 86 and is desperate for a hip operation, but how could we pack her up and make her travel to an airport, then the operation, then travel back? It's ridiculous that this is what our elderly are reduced to. We, as a people, are just accepting of it. It's a major failing of our government. Well, you can also avail of the same scheme in private hospitals in Northern Ireland, by the way. The wait can be a little longer, but it's still much shorter than it might be otherwise. So if your mother, if you don't think it would be good for her to make the trip to Spain, it's not going to suit anyone. Certainly well worth talking to a private operator in Northern Ireland who may well be able to do it quicker than the 4 to 6 months that James was told. But for a lot of people, 4 months to 6 months is much more agreeable than 2 to 4 years. So, as I say, it's not a case that you have to travel. That's an option. James used it. It worked for him. I know there's other people. I was messaged from someone who's in hospital with a parent who is in hospital with pain from needing such an operation. And as soon as she gets out of hospital, they're going to make inquiries with a view to getting her over there. It's a bit of a travel, but at least then perhaps when they come back, they can have the rest of their life pain-free. So as I say, it's going to suit some, it's going to suit the other. I think we kind of, I don't want to sound preachy here, but I think we kind of believe that our own personal situations applies to everyone, or that something has to be all good or it's bad. I think what we're trying to do here is present options. It could be, we've talked about the options in Northern Ireland, that might suit some people. We've talked about the options in Spain, that might suit others. But because it doesn't suit everyone, or one person had a bad experience, it doesn't mean it's all bad, you know? And what I'm trying to do, what we try and do, is maybe help people, that maybe it does suit someone who's listening and they're relieved of their pain, but it's not going to suit everyone. Call me sceptical or whatever, but who's profiting from this arrangement hidden in paperwork? Could one find the names of any Irish directors of this private Spanish hospital? If the HSE can refund this service in a foreign country, I can't see why the business, jobs and economic benefits cannot be kept in Ireland. I'm getting the cent fresh extra money rolling into already rich pockets. There's always someone making money. We are the currency. It's off our backs that the money is being made. Yes, of course. Why do we not invest all the money that we put into the National Treatment Purchase Fund, which is paying for private hospitals in the Republic of Ireland? Why is that not spent perhaps better in public hospitals? I don't know. Maybe you need to speak to the consultants. I don't know if they have a role in changing how we do things here. And I'm sure there are people who travel into Ireland to get treatment and then return home, and that money's refunded to them. You can be sure that's going on as well. But I guess to say, it's just to try and get people who are suffering some relief, however we do it. But certainly, these things do need scrutiny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
We can all see how conflict affects energy supply and prices. More than ever, we need to be mindful of how we use energy. By reducing your use, you can save money and lessen the impact. Here's how. Only heat your home to the temperature you need. Use appliances efficiently. And where possible, outside the peak hours of 4 to 7 p.m. Consider walking, cycling or public transport for short journeys. Drive at lower speeds where safe to do so. Government advice and supports are available for homes and businesses to help you meet this challenge. Find out more at gov.ie/reduce your use. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
SMEs all over Ireland. You're just fab. That's not it. You're the bee's knees. I've got it. You're the business, because many of you are now using digital to take your business to the next level. Whether you'd like to get online, grow online or go global, check out, wait for it, You're the Business, the new digital training programme for Irish SMEs. Visit g.co/You're the Business. Brought to you by Google in partnership with Enterprise Ireland and your local Enterprise office. Nailed it.
It's a busy time on farms, so watch out for tractors, trailers and other farm machinery using the roads. Be patient, slow down and only overtake farm machinery when it's safe to do so. If you're driving a tractor, you must hold a licence. Make sure your vehicle is roadworthy, check your load regularly and drive at a safe speed. Be aware of traffic building up behind you and when possible, allow cars to pass safely. From the Road Safety Authority and the Irish Farmers Association.
Okay, so when you sit down to stream your favourite show or to watch your favourite programme on scheduled telly, it's not just plucked out of the sky, you know. There's a group of hugely talented people and these storylines and what have you come from their minds and from their pen, and amongst them is our own Maharorty man, Antoine Begacolla, who is a script editor on Hollyoaks, amongst other programmes, and I'm delighted to welcome on to the show. Good morning, Anton.
Thanks very much. It's delighted to be on Highland Radio finally.
It's great to have you on. Come here, how do you get into script writing? Where does that start? I mean, is there...
Basically, I'd always kind of been just wildly fascinated by TV. And obviously with the Donegal weather being as wet as it is, you're stuck inside watching TV a lot more than you should. And I'd always kind of loved it, but I never thought for 1 second I could do it. And when I was going to college, I went to Dublin to do media arts and DIT, initially with the thoughts of doing radio because I wanted to take over the Sean Doherty show when he left. That was the big plan eventually. But they had a decent screenwriting section of the curriculum. And as part of the course, I ended up going to Columbia College in Chicago for a bit, where I ended up writing a script. Was something I never expected to do. They kind of forced me into it a little bit, but it was the best thing I ever did. And I was like, I could actually do this. And it was just over the next couple of years of kind of doing little scripts in my room and eventually just writing one for myself, and it ended up getting made, and that was kind of the real start of it then.
Well, as the person who did take over from Sean Doherty, you should thank your lucky stars, the career path that you did choose. Okay. Writing for soap, often we hear from soap actors, and they talk about the speed of it and how quickly you have to learn your lines, and there's nothing like it because you're banging out episode after episode. You're producing hours of what has to be quality TV on a weekly basis. Is there any more breathing space for script writers, or is it the same sort of intensive working environment?
It is insane. Like anyone who works in a soap, because I know a lot of people will criticize soaps and it's like, oh, it's not believable, that would never happen in real life. Try making one, because you are just constantly churning out scripts. And so for us here, and for most soaps I worked on, it takes 8 weeks to write one episode. So you've got your writers coming in constantly, and they're not given a huge amount of time. So 8 weeks might sound like a huge amount, but they have to deliver probably about 5 or 6 drafts, and you're dealing with all the issues like, actors on holiday or locations not being available or just people being sick, stuff like that. So there's constantly just challenges that you have to face all the time. So I used to work on Red Rock, which had 2 different crews working at the one time. So we would have some in the police set and some in the domestic sets, and they were separate, so it wasn't too bad. Here in Hollyoaks, we have up to 5 different crews filming at once on the same day. So the campus is quite big. It's probably about the size, it's an old school, so it actually reminds me of like the size of St. Eunan's, but there's so many people going on at the one time that it's an absolute nightmare sometimes to write. So there's huge like pressures and constraints behind the scenes that people obviously don't know about, and they shouldn't know about because they're watching the show. They don't care how hard we work. But at the same stage, it's an ordeal. It is very, very tough being on these shows.
Do you get some sort of a sick pleasure from one of the key actors saying, do you know what, I'm quitting, I'm going to try something else, I'm going to try Hollywood, and then you can really actually get your teeth into an exit story? Like, so you sort of half going, oh, I'm going to miss you, but really you're going, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, me and actors are we're not designed to get on, because I think it's like when you talk to actors and they're talking about their feelings and emotions. I'm from Donegal, we don't have any of that here. So whenever I try...
What are emotions?
What are emotions? What are those? So whenever I'm talking to them, I love making them suffer. It's great. Like, not that I get to pitch a huge amount of story ideas to them, but they do let us do that. But it's it's like you will put your actors through absolute hell. So there's some of the storylines that we have that are really difficult for anyone to do. And they just get on it. But the thing is as well, like in anywhere I've worked, the actors, like some of them might have egos, some of them might be a bit difficult to work with, but like it's such a difficult job to have a crew of like 20, 30 people watching at you, and for you to have to laugh, cry, whatever we're asking at the drop of a hat, it's really tough.
Yeah, indeed. Soaps are struggling to be relevant to a younger population. Maybe not so much Hollyoaks. I think Hollyoaks probably is a wee bit ahead of the curve because they're pushing sort of boundaries with storylines. But you can almost see in the bigger soaps where they're hit. If you say, right, what are the top 4 things affecting young people at the moment? They're all carrying it because they just want people to tune in, and you can understand that. Hollyoaks, you have a little bit more latitude. You've been doing that already for quite some time anyway.
Yeah, that is the one thing here, is that like we're probably the only kind of soap that's like for a much younger demographic. So because we go out at 6:30 on a weekday, we are under kind of different constraints. So we are trying to kind of tell the best stories that we can that have the best messages. So Hollyoaks' kind of ethos is that it's real life but brighter. So that even though there are terrible things going on in the world and that the characters are affected, it's still, there should be an awful lot of hope in it. So we do go for massive, massive stories that a lot of other people wouldn't even dare to try, but it can have really incredible effects. Like there was one a few years ago of like a male rape, which is something that we'd never seen on TV. And so many people came forward with, like of abuse and all that stuff afterwards. So like they really do push the envelope, but it's not for the sake of kind of viewers, it's for the sake of telling gripping stories that resonate with people.
But you also have to do it in a pre-watershed situation. And you're dealing with a very sensitive topic, a very important topic, and you have to do it and the victims justice. But at the same time, then you have to frame it. You have to frame it for a young audience, as you say. I mean, that's a tightrope to walk.
Completely, and it's like we're kind of watched very closely for what we do because it is such a young audience, and we don't want people to be doing stuff that they can imitate. So it's that fine line between telling a really good story, but at the same stage, not glamorizing it. So it's very difficult to do, and but like we seem to do it quite well.
Antoine, do you have 5 minutes after the news?
Sure.
Okay, good stuff. Well, very good. I don't want to rush our conversation. So what we might do is we're going to take a quick break for the news with Donald Kavanagh, and then we'll come back to Antoine. So at 11 o'clock, it's time for a news update, and it is good morning to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. Donegal Garda says more people are being detected for drink and drug driving because the capacity of Gardaí to detect drugs continues to improve. There have been 15 detections on the county's roads since last Tuesday. Garda Niall Maguire also confirmed to Greg on today's 9 till noon show that there have been 34 vehicle crashes recorded in Donegal in the past week. A former Ryder Cup captain says he believes Donegal is set to explode in popularity as a golf tourism destination in the next 5 years. Paul McGinley, the driving force behind next week's Tour of Legends event in Rosapenna, says traditionally the county hasn't received the promotion and funding it deserves. He says that is changing. Next Monday he'll receive the Freedom of Donegal ahead of the event at Rosapenna. The Lifford man who died in a drowning accident while holidaying abroad has been named locally as Martin Duffy. He died while on a family holiday in Greece. Mr Duffy, who was in his 50s, was married with 3 children and a lecturer at Northwest Regional College in Derry. He was also involved in schoolboy soccer in Donegal and was a member of the executive of the Donegal Junior League. Gardaí are appealing for information about an assault in Dunloe in the early hours of Sunday morning. Gardaí say they received a report of the incident and found a man with multiple injuries. He was rushed to hospital. Gardaí believe that sometime between 1 and 3 in the morning, the man was assaulted near the old Bank of Ireland building on Main Street. Anyone with information is being asked to contact Gardaí in Dunloe on 074 95 21000 or any Garda station. Irish Water says it's watching closely to see if restrictions will be needed as Ireland heads for another heatwave. While water levels drop because of the hot weather, demand also tends to increase. Interventions are already underway at 13 water supplies across the country to ensure they don't run dry. None of those supplies are in Donegal. 60 others across the country are on a watch list amid concern they'll reach a critical level and may need to be restricted in the future. And the government is considering giving the central bank the power to regulate ATM operators. It's reported this morning in the Irish Independent that 3 out of 4 cash machines are handled by unregulated cash distribution companies. Bank of Ireland and AIB have sold a combined 1,200 machines to unregulated operators in the past 3 years. By the end of this year, only 25% of ATMs will belong to the banking system, compared to 100% in 2015. They're the headlines. Back with more at 12 noon.
Okay, Donald, thank you very much for that. Still in the company of Antoine Bagacola, who is a Maharoti man, script editor on Hollyoaks, and also on scripted reality shows. It's a strange sort of a description, scripted reality. Is that a different challenge in and of itself? Because I presume it has to be loosely, if not more tightly, based on real events. I don't know. How does that work?
I don't really do much of that because I'm in, it's the company that I work for.
Excellent. So I don't have to talk about it.
No, moving on.
What storyline, be it on Hollyoaks or any of the former shows that you've worked on, is there one that you're particularly fond of, or have we already mentioned it?
It's there was one on Red Rock. So basically, I was working in Pennies in Galway. You live in the dream, as you do. And I managed to somehow get onto Red Rock, which was like that Garda show that was on TV3. And one of the storylines that we did, it was meant to be like a throwaway storyline where it was a detective sergeant was having an affair with a 15-year-old girl. So that was, and the 15-year-old girl was his best friend's daughter and this. So it was one of these ones that it was meant to be a story of the week, which meant that it was going to be in the episode for maybe one episode and then we'd move on to something else. But the actors that they hired were so good that they were just kept on, and the story just kind of grew and grew and grew, that it became the major storyline for 2 seasons really. And one of those actors was Sean Mahan, who was in Philomena and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And the girl that we had, who was 18 at the time, is Anne Skelly, who last I heard, she's done films with Jamie Dornan. She's in Josh Whedon's latest. I don't know what's happening with that, but she's on the way to Hollywood now. So it was great to kind of do a storyline that really gripped the nation, and that the actors got their dues from it and went on to do much, much better stuff as well. It was it's really cool to work on that. And again, just kind of these everyday stories to really play them out and get into the fine detail, especially of her being a 15-year-old girl, and just to see the abuse she got off Irish Twitter was really interesting to see. Of kind of, this is a 15-year-old girl, she doesn't have as much agency as you think, but and just the attitudes kind of around that and the discussion to play out on Twitter as well is really, really interesting and quite fulfilling to do.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, and in terms of when you're writing, do you have a story arc that you're working on? Do you work as a team? I presume there's group meetings between the writers, yourself, the producers, and obviously scheduling it. In other words, well, this story is going to drop in such a time, or we're going to have an hour-long episode then. So are you sort of given a space to work in, and that's where you operate, or how does that, because it's an awful lot of moving parts, Anton?
There's huge amounts, and because we're such a big show, we need a huge amount of actors. So you'll have probably about 20, 30 of your main cast, and you have to kind of come up with stories for all of them. So we have these things called conferences every so often where we just pitch whatever our latest story idea is. and we will just some of the suggestions we have are just insane, and but like we really do go for it. So the what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll pitch the stories, and we'll try and come up with the best one. We'll try and so because there's so much happening behind the scenes as well. You could have an actor who's wanting to leave, or an actor who's quite popular and we want to give more to that we didn't see. So you just kind of pitch as much. Actors a lot of the time, if they're on soaps like this, they'll have guarantees. So you have to use them like 17 weeks out of the year, say. So they have to kind of get that. So you might have an actor who isn't that good that you don't want to kind of feature, but you have to give them stories so that they can make the guarantee because they get paid either way. So it's better that you use them.
But they're also watching Twitter and everywhere else, and they're going, you know, where's this going to leave me? Or what if people don't like this and then don't like the character and then I'm out of work? Like, it's just a real interesting insight into the pressure that ends up really on your shoulders.
Which is funny because it's so many actors love playing baddies. They love it because it's like they go, well, that was just my character, that's not me. And when you're a baddie, you get to do terrible things in big dramatic scenes. So actually, even though they are getting slated on Twitter, but everyone gets slated on Twitter. So
that is really quite true. It's a toxic dump of opinion.
But like, you could say like today's a beautiful day, and somebody's like, actually, it's not because I feel terrible, and then it's so yeah. You just kind of get on. You can't take it too seriously about everything on Twitter.
Yeah, of course. And really, too, it's a little bit like programs like this. There's nothing new. Everything, to some extent, has been done before. I would say whereby it's a brand new topic. They're fewer and far between now. So you do have to find a way to tell the story in a different way, to not sort of fall into certain tropes or what have you. So again, you know, that is another challenge for you. How do you tell this story in a meaningful but maybe slightly different way than it was told once before?
Yeah, like the great thing with us is that because we're so young, we can do things that, like the show will try anything. So like, you know, we could do a show like based on like Instagram stories. We can do like just anything at all to try and tell it in a new and engaging way, which you wouldn't have seen before. So yeah, it's like we're just given kind of carte blanche to kind of come up with these mad ideas that will resonate with an audience and like are kind of new and dynamic and get people watching. Because that's what we want at the end of the day. So whatever kind of tricks we have to do. So sometimes it can be a bit gimmicky and sometimes they can work really, really well. So it's just up to us to kind of execute it to the best of our abilities.
You stepped in front of the camera last year in T.G. Cahir's The Only Gay in the Village. Yes. Why did you want to do that show?
It was just kind of an opportunity that was presented to me. And I think so I tend to write a lot, like I'm gay myself, so I tend to write a lot of gay characters. And the one thing that like I find myself when I'm watching TV is that you've got very kind of camp stereotypes and there's not a lot of nuance in terms of gay characters. So I wanted to show myself that like, you know, even in terms of being gay, even in terms of being from the Gaeltacht and speaking Irish, people kind of pigeonhole me into a lot of different stereotypes and none of them are true for me. So I kind of thought it was important for me to show that there's different aspects of like rural Irish Gaels. Also, I love attention. So that was also another major part of it. So put me in front of a camera, I'm happy out. So I just want to kind of show that it's like, it's not, you know, like a lot of people will kind of have their stereotypes of what gay guys are. And I was just like, actually, no, we're not all like that. And and I'm very, very comfortable and open about talking about it.
Yeah, and did you do it for yourself or did you do it for other people? Did you kind of hope that maybe there was some fella or girl who saw it and, you know, could say, right, okay, well.
Yeah, because the one thing for me is that, like, representation really, really matters. So when I was growing up, I don't remember any gay characters on Irish TV because being gay was legal until 1993. So I was about 10 or 11. Like, the only kind of one that I remember, and he wasn't actually out, was Mr. Humphreys on Are You Being Served? And
you had to dig deep for that one.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing else. So I just felt like, the more visible I am, which is why I kind of, like, I had such, like, a miserable time, like, at school and growing up being, like, closeted and gay, that when I came out, I was like, I'm not going to let anyone make me feel bad, and I'm also going to be visible to show everyone, you know, like, there are other people out there like you. Now, since then, obviously, like, social media has taken over, so you can see a lot more visibility, but it wasn't a thing when I was growing up.
But you know what? It's like great strides have been made, and we might think, wow, in 2022 everything is different. That's for in your experience and in the field that you choose to work. Look at GEA, look at Premiership football. one person coming out and as gay is a massive story, and it's only one. And we know in terms of so in other words, as I say, in the arts maybe it's different and representation on TV, but still in certain areas of society, we're still back in the it's only one person on Are You Being Served days.
Yeah, and that's really sad, because it's like we all know of closeted GA players and football players, like politicians who just won't come out. And it's a real shame, because, you know, if they were, then, you know, I think you would get like loads of people following. And you are starting to see it a bit more in football, but it would be great if they had like a main Premier League player or a main GA player, because the only kind of this is another old reference, but Justin Fashanu was like the only gay footballer back in like the early 80s.
Yeah, but he took some abuse it was unbelievable. And I remember some of from the reputable newspapers that people and the way his story was contextualized with you know, I think AIDS and stuff at the time and all that. I mean, it was absolutely horrendous, and I think really it's how you will be perceived and treated that is stopping people. You know, and it has to be their decision, and they have to be comfortable with it. You talked about being an attention seeker. You must. Do you ever audition for a role on any of these soaps? So because you have an itch that you want to scratch, I think, to get out there and sort of do. I mean, you've got a very theatrical beard.
It's often got a lot before. So it's like, I just don't think I'd have patience for acting, or like people have offered me hosting roles before, but it's like I've not really kind of done that stuff. I've done stand-up for a bit, which isn't surprising because I'm so funny, but it's just, I wouldn't be, like, I think that would be kind of more the thing that I want to do, but I'm just so content writing my own scripts that, as long as, the dream is that, like, some of my own stuff takes off, some of my own comedy stuff especially, that I'll be able to do interviews and, you know, get my point across and do the interviews and be funny, and then just kind of be away from the spotlight as well. But like, that's kind of the ultimate dream.
Yeah, brilliant. But you're enjoying life. Life is good as it is, and who's to say what is to... And you've worked with Oliver Callan on Callan Kicks as well too, which I'd say is a laugh. More pressure. You don't take anything on that's too easy, do you?
No, it's, you know, I like making life as difficult as I can for myself at all times. So Callan's Kicks was incredible, because I'd never done kind of sketch writing like that before. And you go in on a Wednesday, you have your meeting at like 10 o'clock, and then you have to hand over 4 or 5 sketches by about Thursday evening. And it's based on what's happening in the news. The amount of times where you just hit send, your sketch has gone in, you're happy with it, it's hilarious. And then that politician that you've just done your sketch about has gone and done something else, and it just all gets scrapped, and you have to start again. But it's really it's one of my favorite jobs, because it's just constantly on the go.
And he's been on the show a couple of times as well as Paddy Cullivan. And what I've said it to them, and I'll say it to you as well. It's not just about like spit an image or something where you try and make something funny, whatever. There's a point to it. There's a narrative there. Do you know what I mean? There's sometimes things that are questioned and asked and pointed out that you won't see in the front of the Irish Times or the Independent, which you probably should as well. Exactly. And I think that show serves a particular important role in that regard as well. So it's probably one of the only outlets that is holding, you know, maybe the media to account, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly, because there's a lot of things that there's a lot of politicians who kind of get an easy ride, and you're just wondering, well, why is that? Like, because it's like, I personally myself, I don't think Leo Varadkar got like anywhere near the scrutiny, and I always wondered what were the reasons. Were certain journalists afraid of being seen as homophobic? You know, were certain journalists afraid of being seen as xenophobic or whatever?
A lot of the time is, and maybe this is not a conversation for another day. You don't want to pee off prospective employers, do you know? Exactly. I mean, like, where do the advisors come from? Where do the press people come from? They come from the journalistic pool, and it's a very, very small pool. And I wouldn't ever do such a job. And I feel it gives me much more latitude to say what I want to say, you know, because I don't want to ever work in politics or for a politician. So I feel I can sort of, you know, I have the freedom, whomever it might be, to say what I want. And I think some journalists don't have that.
Completely. You see them being afraid, and like there are certain times when a particular journalist who's, I mean, completely hypothetically, but some journalist whose spouse might be working with a politician, and it's like, and they're also a producer on the show,
Would never happen in this country, Antoine. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it's a hypothetical. Come here. Continued success. I mean, obviously, things are going to go great for you. That's very, very clear. But you're enjoying life at the moment, and it's great to see one of our own doing so well, Antoine, and something to be celebrated and something to be really proud of from our perspective. So well done, and finally, good to get you on the programme. It's an open invitation whenever you want.
Oh, you are going to regret saying that to me
of course
so much. I'll be coming back every 2 days, just annoying.
In between scripts. Take care of yourself, Antoine. Well done. Lovely to speak to you. Okay, that's Antoine Beggar-Culler there from Maharorty, and he's a scriptwriter on Hollyoaks, but also works with Lime Pictures, and that company also makes programmes like The Only Way is Essex and Geordie Shore, but he also works on his own scripts and has his own ambitions, and it's always good to celebrate one of our own doing so well.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
New this week in Home Store and More. All pet beds, toys and accessories are half price. But better hurry, because when all the half price pet beds, toys and accessories are gone, they're gone. Also, all 100% cotton children's duvet sets and all garden wall art is still half price. But when all the half price 100% cotton children's duvet sets and all the half price garden wall art is gone, they're definitely gone. Order online before 2 p.m. for next day delivery or drop by your local Home Store and More. Home Store and More. A happy home.
McGinty Tractors in Donegal Town have a vacancy for a management accountant. Reporting to the managing director, the successful candidate will have an overall responsibility for the financial function of the business. This permanent role will suit a qualified accountant with at least 3 years' experience in a similar role. Email your CV for the attention of the managing director to mcgintytractors.hr@gmail.com. Closing date for applications is August 12th.
Sabrina Robb here from Donegal Hearing Clinic. If you're struggling to hear everyday conversations or find it difficult to understand people in a crowded room, you may have hearing loss. Problems like these are common, and we're used to helping people resolve them. We offer hearing assessments and will discuss your options. You can call us on 074 91 88 470 or visit donegalhearingclinic.ie. Life sounds brilliant with Donegal Hearing Clinic, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Sheridan Security, now introducing zero-wire smart alarm systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
Is your current car ready for change? If so, now is a good time to visit DMG Motors Donegal Town. Choose from their Skoda range including the Fabia, Scala, Superb, Karoq, Kodiaq, Kamiq, Octavia and the all-new electric Enyaq. Now available for delivery. All fitted with the latest technology, Skoda Connect, with a whole new range of simply clever features. DMG Motors have made buying a new car affordable with finance available on all new vehicles. Test drive the new Skoda today. Call 972136. Skoda, made for Donegal.
€12 at Tesco gets you Ariel washing powder, but just €7.41 at Aldi gets you washing powder plus washing up liquid, plus all-purpose cleaner, plus polish, plus bleach, plus bathroom and plus window cleaner, all for far less than the price of washing powder at Tesco. So swap to Aldi and you could clean up. Just saying, Aldi, every day amazing. Tesco price checked on tesco.ie 13th of the 7th 22. Details at aldi.ie. Excludes offers. Products and prices may vary.
All right, we try our best to bring you a star-studded show every day here on Highland Radio. We've had a script writer from Hollyoaks doing great things in the world of entertainment. Paul McGinley, a golfing legend. Donna Rosemary Scanlon, a musical legend. And as it relates to our conversation with Donna, we're joined by another local legend, Aisling Arnold, Managing Director of Arnold's Hotel in Dunfanaghy. Good morning, Aisling. You're in great company today.
We are indeed. Good morning, Greg. How are you?
It's great to have you on the programme. It's great to celebrate another great person's life with you in Olivia Newton-John. People would know her passing was confirmed last evening. And I talked of her staying in the county and what memories people might have of her. Can you tell us your experience? She was over during the mid-90s. Is that right, Aisling?
That's correct. Olivia and her daughter Chloe came to stay in the hotel here in 1996, and at that time Jill Dando's Holiday Experience was being aired, and Olivia Newton-John was the person or celebrity of choice, along with her daughter, to come and experience the week-long horse riding trail that we had here, and then basically being able to stay at the hotel here also. So that was kind of a full board dinner, bed and breakfast, and getting her picnics out during the day along the countryside or on the beach, along with her daughter Chloe and some friends that she brought with her.
Now, we heard from Donna that despite all of her success, she was still a very normal, very down-to-earth person. Is that the impression you got from her, Aisling?
Absolutely. She was an absolute lady at the time that she was here. Obviously, there was huge excitement in the village of Dunfanaghy and in the hotel here itself to have such a famous person staying at the hotel and in the village. And Olivia herself just immersed herself into the entire community. She spent a lot of her time visiting some of the local pubs and I suppose getting the feel of the real Irish experience and the warm Irish welcome, which thankfully everybody gave her, and she absolutely loved it. And she was just so easy to deal with here, absolute lady, and we just loved having her. And, you know, it was a real special memory to have here at the hotel.
And I suppose too, it's probably quite refreshing because, you know, we give people their space here, don't we? I mean, we get lots of famous people come to Donegal and they can kind of go, I mean, they get a bit of attention, but they can generally go around go about their business as normal.
Oh, absolutely. But Olivia, actually, and her daughter Chloe would have been 10 when she was here. And Chloe, you know, and Olivia both were very keen to, you know, spend their time amongst other guests here at the hotel and the locals. But also, you know, as you said, everybody was very kind and gave them the space as well that they required and that they would have needed as well to get that little bit of rest after, you know, they were doing kind of 7 hours horseback riding at a time. So, you know, when they came back, they were obviously exhausted with that. But as I said, they very much made the most of it and they thoroughly enjoyed their time.
And it was a great publicity too for the region at the time. Did it have any positive knock-on effects, Aisling?
Absolutely. You know, it obviously was aired on BBC, so that got a huge reach for us here at the hotel, and our trail rides, I suppose, subsequently then, you know, kind of rocketed for probably a couple of years following that. In particular, it obviously then got huge traction in the US market, and subsequently then our trail rides typically came from the US, you know, throughout the summer season.
Wow, and very tragically, you mentioned Jill Dando. It was her 3 years after that, her life was taken. Was Jill over at the same time, or was it just a? Jill was here also, and again another lady, and absolutely very easy to deal with, and you know, we were absolutely delighted, obviously, to be able to host Jill and her, you know, her program here at the hotel, and she was nothing but courteous and ladylike and just very easy to deal with. So it was, you know, a huge tragedy, obviously, to hear of her passing then a short time later. Yeah, but lovely memories to treasure of Jill, Chloe as well, obviously, who thankfully is still with us, and Olivia. And you just backing up exactly what Donna said, just seems a lovely, down-to-earth very down-to-earth. Yeah, okay. Lovely memories, Aisling. Thanks for sharing them with us. And how's everything going at Arnold's? Everything going well for you at Arnold's? Yeah, fantastic. We were celebrating 100 years in business this year, so we're absolutely delighted. What an achievement, a century in business. Absolutely. So it's a huge accolade, and you know, we're going to be doing some celebrations now at the end of the year. So I was going to ask, has the party happened yet? What's scheduled? No. Are the plans still afoot? Yes, no, we're hoping just to get the season over us, and then hopefully have our main party, as we want to call it, in November. We had planned for October, but fortunately our bookings are very strong, and we have a lot of business on the books for September and October, so we've just pushed it out now to November so that we can get to spend a little bit more time with our customers and our suppliers, and get to enjoy it a little bit more as a family as well. Excellent. I'm sorry, Ashley, to talk business. It's good. The season's extending out. We're bridging now to the Halloween, are we? Because that's a couple of years in a row that we're kind of seeing that our holiday patterns. I think there's a different kind of clientele might come in those couple of months. Is there? Maybe the children are back to school, and we all love children. Don't get me wrong, but it's just maybe people have a bit more time to themselves, can take a break.
100%, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're also very fortunate, Greg. I suppose COVID actually, in some ways, actually did us a lot of favours in that it kind of reached markets that we possibly weren't able to get prior to COVID. So we were getting a lot of southern ROI custom here to Dunfanaghy now that typically we wouldn't have got in the past, and we're actually getting that now out of season as well. So that's kind of helping, to extend the season for us, which we're absolutely delighted about.
Excellent. So that's returning custom. They saw the product during the. People don't like the word staycation, but they liked it so much they're coming back. That's the testimony to what we have to provide. Listen, Ashley, congratulations, by the way. I know you're celebrating it later in the year, 100 years in business. It's a remarkable achievement, and thank you for sharing your lovely memories of Olivia Newton-John with us as well, and continued success for another 100 years. Greg. All right, take care, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us. Okay, that's her memories. We do have a break to take. A lot of you messaging in with your experiences of the cross-border or the refund scheme for getting operations. It's a mixed bag of comments on that and different issues. We'll be getting to those and much more with another in-studio guest for you coming up very shortly, but we'll take a break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Pokemon have arrived in Happy Meal. Which one will you find? Will it be Pikachu, who can generate powerful electricity? Whoa! How about Growlithe with hot flare bursts? Nice. Or Rowlet, who can soar through the sky? Wow! You can discover Pokemon in your McDonald's Happy Meal now and enjoy delicious melon chunks. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 6th of September, subject to availability from 11 a.m. includes choice between book or toy but not the specific item. Separate sales are limited and fair ordering policy applies. Check mcdonalds.ie/Happy Meal.
Want unbeatable value from Sky? Here's the deal. Get Sky Broadband for just €29 a month, plus Sky Q for only €10 a month. Super fast, super reliable broadband. And Sky Q with your apps and recordings. That's Sky Broadband for €29 a month, plus Sky Q for €10 a month for 12 months. Now that is unbeatable value. Go to sky.ie. Availability subject to location. Offer does not include Sky TV subscription. New Sky customers only. Setup fees, minimum term and further terms apply. For more info, see sky.ie/speeds.
Applications are now open for ScaleX Blue Economy, the technology accelerator program for entrepreneurs in the blue economy, including those in the marine engineering, research and energy sectors. Run by Local Enterprise Office Donegal, ScaleX Blue Economy focuses on promoting the skills needed to develop globally scalable ventures, attract investment and create jobs. Applications are open to businesses anywhere in the world who are committed to growing their business from Donegal. Apply before Friday the 19th of August via localenterprise.ie/Donegal/ScaleX Blue.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to give blood and to choose to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Letterkenny and Bunbeg should attend the clinic in the Radisson Blu Hotel in Letterkenny from Monday 8th to Thursday 11th of August. Making an appointment is recommended, so call 1-800-731-137 to book your time. New donors are welcome. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
Our next guest joins us in studio now, and he's former Garda Sergeant Danny Devlin. Danny, thanks so much for calling up.
Thank you, Greg.
It's great to have you with us. No, it's good to have you in. Right, now, you set yourself the target to climb each individual mountain in Ireland over 2,000 feet. I always been curious, what drives someone to set themselves such an ambitious challenge?
Personally, I like to set myself something, that's a challenge going forward, just for a bit of motivation. I usually do it maybe the year before, so actually I have a few things for next year as well. But last year, probably been motivated a bit there by a friend of mine. Aidan Gallagher, who would have walked along all the hills of Donegal from Malin down to Glencolmkill over a number of weeks. And because I'm into hill walking myself, I thought, well, why not maybe extend it a bit further this year? I didn't know whether I could do it or not. Whenever I was sort of planning it, I thought to myself, breaking down the 212 mountains, I would want to be doing at least 4 a week. And getting the time to do that, I didn't know whether I would manage it or not. But anyway, I put a plan in place and I decided to go for it and see what happens. If I didn't do it, I could finish it off next year,
But you did?
Yeah, I did all right.
And in terms of what you were expecting, was it more of a challenge or easier than you were anticipating?
Overall, because I hadn't been on maybe 80% of the mountains that I was going to climb, I didn't know what the terrain was going to be like. Access can be problems because of privately owned land. There's a number of different challenges that I wouldn't actually know until I got there. So I didn't really know what to expect.
Has anyone ever done this before? 210 climbs in a year, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure a number of people have.
Do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. Let's say in Donegal, I don't know if anybody up this direction, but it was that bit more difficult to do it from here because the majority of the mountains down the south of the country, and if you're from down there, it's a fairly handy trip. Even day trips would do it. But for myself now, I would have had to travel and spend a few days away and come back again.
Well, no one did as many miles and hotel stays or wherever you stayed as you did. Anyway, if you want to tag that on top of it.
I was actually surprised in the end to do it. I finished it off on the 31st of July, which coincidentally was actually the 212th day of the year, which fitted in with it as well. But I was surprised to actually have it done at that stage. But good weather sort of helped along the way as well, because 80% of the time I was out in the hills and I had sort of good weather. And then you had a few wet days as well.
Yeah, okay, but if you're a climber, that's par for the course, I suppose. What is there a particular tricky climb that you endured? Any close shaves or?
Probably the more tricky ones would be down in Kerry and the Megiddo Reeks. Probably the most inaccessible one would be called the Big Gun, which is about 1,000 meters in height. But access to it there, you'd have to come off one of two mountains. But irrespective of which one you come off, you're actually going to cross a very, very narrow ridge. And if you don't have a head for heights and have reasonably good weather, it can be dangerous to say the least.
All right. Did you do it on your own?
I didn't do that one on my own.
But
no.
the challenge you did yourself.
I probably maybe 80% of it on my own. But any time I'd be doing it on my own, it'd be actually very important to contact somebody to say what route you're doing.
I was kind of ready. The lead into that question is about, you'd have to be really comfortable in your own company, or even maybe prefer being in your own company, because it's a lot of time. It's a challenge that you're completing for the most part on your own.
Yeah, it is, but I would have a lot of preparation done. I would have did a lot of research into the mountains. I would have had the routes picked out. It's a lot easier doing it now in modern days than it would have been 20, 30 years ago, because of the use of apps. And I could sit down on a laptop and I can actually draw out where my route, where I intend to go. I can send that route to whoever I want to notify. And as I'm walking along, it can be downloaded onto the phone, so you don't need reception out on the mountain. So it's just a matter of following the route, and if it goes off route, it'll actually tell you as well. So it's a lot easier that way. But again, apps are not the primary source of navigation. The compass and the map always has to be with
They're
you.
guidance, but you would be foolhardy to follow them religiously.
Because your phone can go dead or anything.
Exactly. Obviously, it's going to depend on weather conditions, but which climb provided you the best views?
Probably go back to the Reeks again, up at the lakes of Carntoohil. There's a route down there called the Cumlocha Horseshoe Route, and it actually takes in 8 peaks of the Reeks, and it actually takes in, I think, about 5 of the 7 highest mountains in the country as well. But the day I did it now was a beautiful sunny clear day, and to see all the mountains right around Kerry now was fabulous, you know.
And are you a photographer? Did you snap pics?
I take pictures as I go along. That's not the primary thing. I love to actually sit there and take in the view first, and then take the pictures, and it's nice to share the pictures as well. And
well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I mean, you would have an archive of probably some of the best views in the country. Do you do it on your own social media, or what?
I put up a small amount of photographs on social media, but I would have photographs of all the different mountains. Now, some of the mountains again go back to the bad weather, where the visibility might be down to 20 meters. Like, you're not going to get any worthwhile photographs on that.
Oh, you could be standing outside the front door here.
I enjoy it, and you know what I mean. I say I have a good compilation of photographs to show as well.
I've talked to a lot of people, avid walkers, particularly those walks that might be more challenging, and people that climb mountains. And I don't know what the personality trait is, but there's something gets under your skin. Is it that sort of? I'm not saying it's an addiction with any negative connotations, but it's like, right, I finished that one, I want to do the next one, or where am I going to do it next? And there's a great social element to a lot of it too. What is it about these challenges or these climbs or walking or rambling that draws people back to it time and time again?
Well, maybe you could say the same of a golfer. Why does it go down to the golf course?
But there's less point to that. You're just going around in circles, and I play golf myself from time to time.
I think I feel great whenever you're actually sitting up on top of a mountain, looking around. You've got the peace, the tranquility. You sit there and have your sandwich or whatever else, and you look around, and it's just the isolation's nice up there if you're doing it on your own, but also if you're actually doing it with a group. And I would be involved with a hiking club that is over 200 members. So when I'm out with them as well, there could be 20 or 30 of us out. Equally as nice, you have the banter and the whole lot. But I think just sort of sitting there, and you know what I mean, it gives you maybe time to sort of think as well.
You unplug, really, do you? I mean, when you're at the top of a mountain, I mean, obviously you might whip the phone out to take a picture, but you've unplugged, really. It's just you and your surroundings and nature. And it's unspoilt up there.
Yeah, it's a disconnect. I can assure you that when you're sitting on top of a mountain, you're not thinking on ESB bills or anything like that there. You just sort of you can be able to blank that out and just take in the sort of views. And
in terms of your external challenges outside of Ireland, being external, you've climbed Mount Everest Foundation Camp, Kilimanjaro. I mean, are they comparable? Are they two completely different activities, climbing a mountain here and some of those experiences?
Yeah, well, the altitude is a massive difference. The likes of Kilimanjaro was almost 6,000 metres. The highest mountain in this country is only 1,000 metres, so height-wise, you have to deal then with the actual conditions up there. The lighter the air is, altitude sickness can set in. Thankfully, I didn't have any bad experience of that, but I have seen the experiences of it, and it can be fairly serious for some people.
Yeah.
Then I like maybe going to the likes of Spain there and doing the Camino de Santiago.
Again, an awful lot of people from this country go over and do that.
Yeah, there's thousands and thousands of people do it every year.
Right, you mentioned golf, so I'm going to use that as an analogy or a metaphor or whatever it is. You might play golf to lower your handicap. That's your challenge, right? No one ever gets as good as they can or achieves everything they want at golf. So, do you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
How do you challenge yourself next? You've done 212 peaks in half a year, effectively. Or did you start before the year? Did you start this in 2021?
No, I actually started on the 1st of January.
So you did that in half a year, right? You've done Kilimanjaro, part of Everest. You know, that's not. I mean, what's your next challenge?
Well, I at the moment because I've probably lost a few pounds doing the hills I have done. I used to do a bit of jogging, so I'm back at that at the moment. And my next challenge is actually the Donegal Half Marathon, which is on now on the 28th of this month, and it's another fantastic event. I think anybody that can jog 10k should be capable enough of actually doing it. Like that, there's a challenge in its own. Leading on from that, I want to go back and do the Dublin City Marathon now in October. So the sort of training I'm doing at the moment will be a lead up to that. After that, I'll probably give up athletics for a while again.
Sorry for athletics.
Next year, I have actually booked to do Machu Picchu in Peru, South America. So that's probably my next.
Wow, that's
next
a
outing.
beautiful thing to have on the horizon.
The challenge itself, it's not that you want to do it as fast as you can or a shorter time.
Yeah.
It's just something different.
Yeah,
to,
and I think
enjoy,
even with the 212 Peaks challenge, you surprised yourself. So you obviously weren't saying, I can do this by the 212th day. You surprised yourself in how quickly you were able to do it. And just finally, is this something... Have you always been at this, or is this something that you came to later in your life, maybe when you had a bit more time, having resigned from the force, or retired, sorry?
Yeah, years ago I probably would have did a bit more running. Like I would have did my first Dublin City Marathon over 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But over the years, I'm probably slowing down a bit, so maybe walking's a bit easier. But
how's your your knees and hips?
The knees and hips are actually very, very good. Because any of the, let's say, long distance runs I did before, I trained for marathon. After the marathon's over, I just give up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until the next one.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So I probably saved my joints over the years that way as well.
All right, okay. Now, I also see Pieta House mentioned here.
Yeah.
People would know your association there too.
Yeah, well, back I would have been involved last year with the Darkness into Light initially. And because there's no Pieta House service north of, let's say, the Galway-Dublin line at that particular time, I sort of wanted to push and try and get a service up here. So myself, along with a sort of committee, got together and we would have approached the Pieta House in relation to the viability of setting up a service. And they did agree to set up a service, but we sort of had to show that there was funding available to keep it going as well. So the sort of primary role at that time was sort of showing that we could raise enough money to get a service going there. And thankfully we did get it up and running. Okay, about 2 years ago, I know that whenever the pandemic hit, and I know they were hit for funding for a certain amount, and there's a bit of disquiet as to whether the service would stay open in Letterkenny or not. My current knowledge at the moment is actually going very well. It's fully staffed. People that need the service, it is there for them. It is a fantastic crisis intervention service, and hopefully it will be continued to be utilised and supported.
Yeah, and hopefully you're proud in your role in establishing it. Danny, listen, congratulations on a wonderful achievement achieved in 212 days, 212 peaks. The category being over 2,000 feet, isn't that it?
Yeah, there's 200 of them over 2,000 feet, and there's 12 of them over 3,000 feet. Probably the most enjoyable day of the whole lot was on the 2nd of April, joining Charlie Board and Croagh Patrick.
Oh, you were.
You know what I mean? You're
Okay.
talking about sort of maybe motivation and stuff. Charlie Board is probably the most motivational person I've actually been along with, where he's able to get the whole country motivated.
I didn't know that. So you were able to coincide that climb with that.
Yeah,
event.
I happened to be down there, and because the money was going towards Pieta House asked me if I wanted to maybe go up and join them on the day as well. So it was an absolute privilege now to
that's
be
a
and that was one of the
thing.
mountains I had to do anyway.
Beautiful
so.
to be a part of, I would say.
Yeah,
Excellent. Okay, well done. It really is a fantastic achievement. I mean, when you talk about the percentage of the population that will ever achieve something like that, it is minuscule. I mean, you talked about maybe someone else has done it. Well, you can probably get them on one hand.
All I can say, it's doable. You just need the time, I think, to do it. And I'm sort of lucky enough that I have that bit of spare time more than other people have. So.
You had a bike shop before, did you?
A long time ago.
A few fellas from Old Town are very indebted to Danny, who had a bike shop at his house and often kept their bikes going when they got broken chains of That's a flash for the past.
That's a long time ago.
Old Town, people remember for a long time in Old Town. Listen, great stuff. Best of luck with your challenges going forward. Unless there's anything you want to add, Danny, before we wrap up.
No, just thanks for the invite in. And again, I say the half marathon coming up at the end of the August. If anybody wants to do it, you just log on online there, and the more the merrier.
All right, well done, Danny. Take care of yourself.
Thanks very much, Greg.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering MyCU current account and debit MasterCard, bringing full banking features, delivered with the same local trustworthy service of your credit union.
The big bucks are back. 4 Fridays.
4 winners.
Plus 1 lucky jackpot.
Oh, that didn't work. €2,500 every Friday.
And on the 4th Friday,
September 2nd.
Someone also wins
10,000 cash money.
Go to HighlandRadio.com and get your €10 ticket. It's a whole new meaning to cash flow. Highland Radio.
Summer's just got better.
If you've got great photos sitting on your phone or in the cloud, why not visit mcgee's.ie and see the range of creative options available. Get larger 7x5 prints for the same price as the standard 6x4s, with 100 prints for just €12. Or select from the great range of photo gifts like mouse and placemats, phone covers, jigsaws and clocks. Click and collect or have them delivered. See what you can do with your favourite photos online at mcgee's.ie.
Is the appearance of your staff important to your business? It's the first point of contact for customers when entering your premises. At C&M Embroidery in Letterkenny, they have a huge range of clothing covering all areas of the workplace. It's widely known that customers warm to and trust employees that present themselves well. Have your company name embroidered or printed on all your work uniforms. Contact C&M Embroidery on 07491 28097 and get your staff looking their best.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why. The Euro Millions jackpot is an estimated €40 million. Play responsibly, in-store, in-app or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Patterson's massive summer sale now on. Fantastic discounts across all departments. Beds, mattresses, appliances, dining tables, chairs, sofas and garden furniture. Up to 50% off all X-Display kitchens. Patterson's The Hall Lifford. The massive summer sale for 1 week only.
Getting value on your shopping has never been more important. That's why at Super Value we have great offers like selected barbecue meats and eat 3 for €10. Selected Pampers new baby nappies and Fairy capsules and eat 3 for €20. And get new weekly money off vouchers on the Real Rewards app. For low prices that compete with anyone, it's got to be Super Value.
Visit Knock Shrine from the 14th to the 22nd of August. Hear from guest speakers at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. daily with something for everyone to feel enriched and inspired.
Don't miss our family day on Sunday the 21st of August from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bringing you a wonderful range of fun activities for all ages. Face painting, kite making and much more. All on the beautiful grounds of Knock Shrine. Find out more at knockshrine.ie.
Knock Shrine. Culture, faith and prayer since 1879.
Okay, a conversation has kicked off about people getting operations or on waiting lists. This caller said, I had my knee done in Ballykelly and I didn't have a penny in the credit union. I went down and spoke to them and I was given a loan, no problem. I got €16,000 to cover the sterling, which was high at the time, and I was repaid €11,300. Now I pay the difference, but I don't care. I have a pain-free life now. That's just in response to someone saying you have to have money in to get money out. Hello, Greg. I got my hernia operation in Ballykelly last year. It was great success and I got the money back. Had to sort the paperwork myself, which was fine. Right, okay. We'll stay on that topic now and welcome on to the programme Annette. Hi, Annette.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You were hearing our conversation about hip replacements. What's your story, Annette?
Well, I'm 50 now, but around when I was about 47, I was getting some pain. Didn't really know what it was. I was told it was sciatica and maybe, an injury, and because I used to run. And the pain got worse. It escalated down to my knee, even down to my ankle, and I didn't even know where the pain was coming from. Went to the gym, did some, roller on my glutes and had physio. Actually, the physiotherapist said that he wouldn't be surprised if I needed a hip replacement.
Now, your pain was...
he would have given me...
You had really bad pain, didn't you?
I did. I was limping. I even had the videos of my friends took of me, walking, where I was, severely limping. I was on very strong painkillers, even on a morphine patch, which only took the edge off, but not, the pain.
You lived with chronic pain for a number of years, it sounds like.
I did, and I couldn't sleep at night. I was, to get to sleep, and I had, pillows in between my legs and not being able to lie on the affected side. So lack of sleep, having to do a full-time job and parent, as well, and do my regular, household chores and stuff.
That leaves an awful lot of emotional pressure on top of the physical pain as well, too, Annette. It's a tough cross to bear, that.
Oh, definitely. And, you're going to your GP, and, I was in A&E as well one time, and you're not getting any answers. You're not getting any, guidance as to what to do. You're just getting medication.
And eventually you were told that you did require a hip replacement operation, but you were told you could be waiting 4 years. I can only imagine what it must have felt at that moment, because the pain that you were in and that you were told, you mean I have to endure this, at least this, for 4 years, and it could even get worse.
Exactly. I was waiting 2 years at this stage, and I was told then it could be another 4 years. So I had been in Ballykelly before for a different procedure under a different, cross-border thing, and I decided then, I said, this is the way I have to go. I can't wait 4 years. I wouldn't be able to work. I would have had to go on the sick.
Yeah.
So
what happened then?
So I went in for a consultation, and they told me it was going to be 15,500. So I had to wait. I didn't know. I didn't have 15,500. And worked for another little while, and was getting worse till one day I couldn't actually walk.
Yeah.
And and this is in the morning time I wasn't too bad, but in the afternoon, then I was sore sitting even.
Mm-hmm.
And I just rang Ballykelly actually on the 7th of July last year, and they said, "Do you want to come in next week and get it done?"
Jeez.
And I had to keep the children out for school and stuff, so the week wasn't enough to do that. So I said, what's your next appointment? And they said the 7th of August. So that's when I went in then and got it done.
Yeah, but obviously you had to go and get the money from somewhere, because you do have to front load it, yeah?
I went to the credit union in the meantime, between my consultation and going in. And yes, I did have savings in the credit union. But I also had another loan out as well, so I didn't know if I would be able to get a loan for this.
Yeah.
So I took out a home improvement loan, which was the lowest APR at the time. And that's what I got my hip done with. So I got 10,000 off the credit union.
It improved your experience in the home. So it is a home improvement loan. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Well, it did,
it did. Yeah, exactly. Because you weren't banging into furniture, so you were improving the homes. That's a tick, right?
And
so
my daughter didn't have to dress me anymore.
Okay. So you got the money. It must have been just, I'd say, and I don't mean this funny, you must have had a skip in your step walking out of the credit union, because you had the resources now to go and alleviate this nightmare that you were living in. So you went in the next week.
Definitely.
Operation done. Rehab, back home. How quickly did the pain subside? The intense pain?
Straight away.
Wow.
As soon as I woke up after surgery, I had no pain whatsoever. Now, they did give me painkillers to come home with. Didn't really need them. I was already on medication, as I said, stronger medication from my own GP.
Yes.
A week after I had a bit of difficulty turning in the bed and stuff, but you know what? That's nothing. That's surgery pain rather than, and I knew that would go away. But I decided then I would come off the medication. I said, I don't need these new painkillers. And I actually had the DTs because I was addicted to my painkillers.
Wow. Yeah. And you were on strong
stuff. So I didn't realise I was addicted to them.
Yeah.
And I had to go back on all of my medication again and come off them gradually.
Slowly, yeah, that makes sense. And then, I mean, did you lose the limp? Obviously, able to dress yourself. Were you able to get back to work? Like, has your life returned to normal or close to it?
Well, yeah, I had a friend who helped me. When I initially came out of hospital, I had to get some equipment loan because the health board here don't give you all the equipment that you really need. A higher chair and shower seat and all that. But I did get the shower seat, but that was like 2 months after surgery, which I didn't need it then.
No, at that stage, yeah.
But, yeah, and recovered fairly quickly. Was off the crutches in 3 weeks. Within 3 months, I actually ran 3K.
Wow, and jiving. You're back jiving again.
And back jiving again since February.
Wow. Okay. Now, you didn't get all... sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, because I don't want to run out of time, it's interesting here because you got €11,500 back, so you still have to pay $4,000 back. The Spanish figure where I keep getting is it costs $11,500. So it looks to me like the Spanish hospitals have struck the price at the price point that the HSE is prepared to pay. Because the difference that there's a couple of people who have been to the north, it's been $15,500, and they get $11,500 back from the HSE. Yet that's the price point for Spain. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if the private hospitals in the north look at that now, Annette.
Yeah, and plus you can you have a holiday as well.
I know. I didn't want to ask James that. I was going to ask him to get out onto the beach. There's a lovely beach there in Alicante. It's really quite bizarre because it's in the city.
That's where I would be.
It's in the city, like, and you've got a high street, and then you've got a beach. And anyway, right. So obviously you've got your lovely family and stuff, but to some extent, Annette, does it feel like you've lost 2 years? With the pain that you were going through?
2 years, as I said, I used to run and, I was fairly active. I had to give all that up. I don't drink, so I didn't go out because I only went out to jive. And I couldn't do any of that stuff. So there was no point in me going out. So I feel I've got my life back again, and that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And there's no limitations now like there was years ago with hip replacements. Surgeon said, you can climb mountains, you can run whenever you'll know yourself when you can do it.
Yeah, and they want you on your feet ASAP and walking around, back in the day.
Yeah, there's no sitting about.
Yeah, okay. And where were you driving in the last week anywhere, Annette?
I was in Clonmany.
You didn't lose a purse there because the guard here. There's a black purse.
Unless there was 4,000 in it.
No, there was a wee bit, but listen, you're going to have to pay that monthly. I'm sorry, we can't help you there. Listen, it's wonderful again to hear, just like James, Annette, that you've got your life back and yourself back as well, because I would say for those couple of years, a bit of yourself was gone, and I think it's returned for you, and that's lovely to hear.
Yes, I will need my knee done. I have cysts and fluid in my knee, but it doesn't really give me much bother. But in the future, I'll go to Alicante.
Exactly. I'm sure I'll be over there at the same time. We can get on the sunbathe in between your appointments. But I think you know the pathway now. It's not something that's going to worry you.
I do.
You know what you can do, and that's a lovely position to be in.
GPs and that aren't telling us that you can even do the cross-border thing going to Ballykelly.
You know what?
I've advised lots of people since.
Well, I know a lot of people think you have to be on a waiting list for 2 or 3 years to qualify, and we've disproved that.
Exactly.
Annette, I have to go let John Breslin in.
Thanks. No bother. Thanks a million, Greg.
I'm so delighted that things are going so well for you now.
Right, no bother.
Take care, Annette. All right, bye-bye. That's it. We have to leave it now.